Reuters reports U.S. investigators said on Friday that just 6 seconds before an Amtrak train derailed off a bridge and onto a highway near Seattle, the engineer remarked that the train was speeding. The engineer then applied the brakes, but apparently not the emergency brake, according to a statement released by the National Transportation Safety Board after retrieving and reviewing data from the data recorder and inward and outward-facing cameras. Monday's crash south of Seattle killed 3 people and sent about 100 others to the hospital. All 12 cars and one of the 2 engines jumped the track at a curve, sending some cars tumbling from a bridge onto an interstate highway. The NTSB previously said the train was going 80 miles per hour in a 30-mile-per-hour zone. On Friday, it said the final recorded speed of the locomotive was 78 miles per hour. The train's video cameras were damaged in the crash, but investigators were able to download the content with the manufacturer's help at the NTSB lab in Washington, according to the board. The board said about 6 seconds prior to the derailment, the engineer made a comment regarding an overspeed condition. The engineer's actions were consistent with the application of the locomotive's brakes just before the recording ended. It did not appear the engineer placed the brake handle in emergency braking mode. The camera did not show the crew using any personal electronic devices. Amtrak President Richard Anderson on Friday urged faster national rollout of another safety measure, positive train control, that can automatically slow speeding trains and might have prevented the Washington accident. Positive train control must be installed on all U.S. trains and tracks by the end of 2018. It was not operational on the track where the Amtrak train derailed in Washington. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
The CEO of Dollar Tree unveils the long-rumored foil baking pan. A new donor liver complains about the difficulty of working with Lou Reed. And a local couple keeps their marriage together for the sake of no one. We'll keep this as quick and painless as possible. This is The Onion Week in Review. A study published this week in the Journal of Financial Economics found that 83% of gamblers quit right before they would have hit the big one. Researchers confirmed that roughly 8 out of 10 gamblers who walked away from slot machines, poker games, horse races, roulette, and other games were consistently just a single stake away from winning it all, and unknowingly gave up a lifetime of fortune by quitting prematurely.
Our study proved that subjects who closed an online poker session, walked away from a slot machine, or even gave up gambling altogether would have won millions of dollars in the next bet. Also, people who walk away after hitting it big are missing out on a chance to make more money. I mean, when you're hot, you're hot.
In other news, an Asian guy has a separate group of Asian friends, and a vain Galapagos tortoise tries to pass for 90.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, and you're invited here to join us toll-free at 855-450-FREE. You can bring up anything that you want here on Free Talk Live. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
Of course, you can also join us on Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. You just connect with us there, and you will sound, in some cases, like you're sitting in the studio here with us.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's pretty great. Being an audio guy, definitely appreciate the higher audio fidelity of Skype. I don't really much care for the fact that it's Microsoft product, but,
Yeah. Well, it's nice to know that phone call will never go away, that the NSA will store that forever.
Yeah, I think that they did come out, or was it the Snowden releases that alleged that Microsoft was building backdoors into Skype for the NSA, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So, of course, you can bring up anything that you want. That is the point here on Free Talk Live. But there's news that we want to talk about, including a story here about the next travel ban, or the third iteration of the Trump travel ban, which you may recall. The first one, what did he put it in, like a week, 2 weeks after he took office?
Real early. Yep.
Real early, and it was overturned pretty quickly, and then again, and then again. And so that third attempt here is what the panel of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, according to TheHill.com, has ruled yesterday against said iteration of Trump's travel ban, saying it goes against federal law. The court said in its ruling, quote, "We conclude that the president's issuance of the proclamation once again exceeds the scope of his delegated authority." The most recent iteration of the ban bars people from 8 countries, 6 of which are predominantly Muslim, from coming to the United States. The San Francisco-based appeals court, however, said that the Trump administration could continue to bar individuals from countries in the Middle East and North Africa from entering the U.S. if they do not have a so-called bona fide relationship with someone in the U.S.
Well, that's interesting.
Whatever that means. I don't know how bona fide is defined. I've seen that used in law before and never really explained what the qualifications for being bona fide are. But anyway, the court said the ruling would be put on hold pending any review by the Supreme Court. The court also said, quote, the proclamation's indefinite entry suspensions constitute nationality discrimination in the issuance of immigrant visas, and that it discriminates against travelers and immigrants in the same vein as Trump's previous travel bans. The Supreme Court decided earlier this month that it would allow the latest travel ban to take effect while the litigation ran its course.
Yeah, well, I mean, bona fide means exactly how we use it. It is definitive. It's a good faith. It is, a real thing. The opposite of, spurious or questionable. Or,
so if I show that I have a phone call that I've had with somebody who's in the United States, is that a bona fide relationship?
That would be up to
it's real.
Evidently up to the powers that be, not me, certainly.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm not expecting you to know, and I'm sure it's all completely arbitrary based on who's enforcing it and who's judging the case and
what they want that outcome to be.
Yeah. Richmond-based appeals court must rule on the ban before the Supreme Court visits or revisits the matter. The Trump administration has pushed for a travel ban since January, which it says is necessary to safeguard national security. You buy that one?
I just got to look at where we at. 16 years since 9/11. I'm trying to think of how many terrorist attacks have been committed on U.S. soil by illegal aliens. I'm trying to think of one. I'm not saying there haven't been.
There might have
been.
There
may have not. It just doesn't.
It's not popping.
Not popping into my head. I mean,
Didn't they just foil something out in San Francisco?
Yeah, but I got as far as in the article as he had been talking to a FBI informant. I'm like, okay, again. And too often in these cases, it seems to be the FBI sort of
FBI's radicalizing people.
They do. They sort of radicalize people. Then they bust them, and then they can call that a win. And
we did a report on those things. What you're talking about, where every time you see it in the news, FBI busts a would-be terror plot. Yeah. Every time, it's always the FBI who is, basically a major factor in making these things happen by finding some sort of dupe, finding some easily manipulated or some person who's already been sort of riled up at the government for whatever reason because they've attacked the Middle East, for instance, and have meddled over there for decades. Usually that's what gets them riled up. And then they rile them up further, and then they offer to provide them with a bomb. Right. And a van.
Yep. And don't have a car? We'll get you one.
Right, a car, or in some cases they'll even provide the person with rent while, that way they don't have to be working and they can just, be a patsy for the FBI. And I remember one case out of Alaska, the guy they were setting up actually ended up getting a job at some point along the path, and they went in and scuttled his job, basically.
Right.
So he would, not have anything to live for and then be more likely to go with the FBI terror plot rather than, getting a job and having a responsibility.
Being a productive member of society.
Yeah. And then when we read the story about one of those, it actually said that there have been over 200 of these things. And we certainly haven't reported on a fraction of them over the years, but they always seem to be constant, but they're even more constant than we realized. Right. Hundreds of these fake, ginned up terror plots as created by the FBI.
But it allows the FBI to go out there and it allows administrations to go out there and say, look, all these draconian things that we put in place, they are indeed making a difference, because
that's the claim.
99% of the people read the headline. If they read that, they hear the sound bite, and that's as far as it goes.
Catch the buzz at the water cooler.
Right. But the other thing that I find really disturbing is in a number of these cases, and I don't know that number either, but I've read where the potential terrorist, the one that they've saved, has had some form of mental illness, and to me, that's you're not only, as you said, ginning up something just to get the headline and to call it a win, but you're taking a real advantage of people that, may not be able to make a good decision under normal circumstances, and that's just sad.
It sure is. And if you want to comment, you're welcome to join us here at 855-450 free like freedom. Let's go to your calls and thoughts, whether it's the travel ban or the FBI created terror plots that just keep coming. Let's go to, or whatever you want to talk about. Larry is in Indianapolis listening to WIBC FM. Hello, Larry.
How you doing now, boys?
Hey, what's on your mind tonight?
Hey, look, you get people ginning up stuff all the time, and they always talk about Reagan. It was the Mujahideen and Bonnie Stoddard was the one that they were after at that time. But when you talk about the new tax cut, it's just the same thing that Reagan done. He gave wealthy people.
We haven't talked about the tax cuts, but feel free to comment.
Well, I'll go there because it's the same thing that Reagan done, because I remember I worked in corporate America when he was president in 80 and 83. Mm-hmm. What he done is gave a cut to corporations, right? Domestic corporations, so that they could pack their operations up. They used the tax cut to pay for them to package up their operations and move to foreign country. They capitalized on where Nixon normalized relations with China. Before that time, and I'm 60 years old, you didn't see everything in the store made in China. But after Nixon normalized relations with China, that's when Reagan came in, and when he started giving tax cuts to wealthy people, they just start moving.
One of the reasons why people move a company out of the United States is that they are regulated to death in the United States in a lot of cases, and it's easier to manufacture in other places where the regulatory burden isn't as large. In fact, it's so much easier that it's worth the expense, because it is not cheap to shut down a manufacturing facility and then move and create that manufacturing facility in some other place. You're talking about a multiple million-dollar project.
Our government paid for them to
the government doesn't pay for anything. It's the taxpayers who pay for it.
The taxpayers pay for them to change those jobs.
But you understand they got driven out of here by the government in the first place. So the government...
But they did not. Here's what they got driven out by $3 an hour labor. You cannot compete with $3 an hour labor. What they're going to do with this?
Well, they did for a long time. Yeah. Thanks for the call tonight, Larry. You can compete with it because it's closer to home, so shipping costs are lower. Of course, if we didn't have a minimum wage here, then we could be more competitive with the world.
Good point.
The toll-free number here is 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. But don't worry, robots will be replacing all kinds of manufacturing jobs very, very soon all around the globe.
Thinking about getting into cryptocurrency? It's time you looked into Dash. Dash is digital money that you can use to send instant and private payments anywhere for pennies. Dash offers a decentralized network where miners are rewarded for keeping it strong and safe. Dash has made a huge impact in the crypto world. Start your journey. Check out Dash.org for more information and get in now on the future of cryptocurrency. Dash.org.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. 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 I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Cash. It's perfect for beginners, and the Bitcoin.com wallet makes using and holding Bitcoins easy. No logins are required. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE. What is the case for open borders? We've got it. And we'll share that with you here in moments. With you in the studio tonight, you've got me, Ian.
And Chris.
Also, if you want to help build a better financial system for everyone, you can join Dash. Dash is digital cash. It's a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. You know, like Bitcoin used to be. Bitcoin, what is now known as BTC or Bitcoin Core. I had the pleasure of introducing a business to Dash today. It's the #1 taco place in New Hampshire, voted that way 2 years. Called Taco Biondo in a little town called Hillsboro.
I got to get there.
It's great. You've never been?
No, I've never been there.
Yeah, it's great. So anyway, I pitched them. It's taken a year to introduce and then finally close them.
Forever, yeah.
You know, it's a long process of trying to get a business owner's attention, trying to introduce them to cryptocurrency, and then, you know, get them to pay attention long enough to decide whether or not they want to start accepting it. And so, you know, over the last year, it's a co-owner, so husband and wife team. The wife, you know, we ended up getting her to install a wallet personally to accept tips because she was running the register. So accept tips for cryptocurrency tips. And back then we were using Bitcoin Core. And that was great. It worked great. You know, she took some tips in, and then over time those tips grew in value, and so she's got to watch the value of Bitcoin go up, and that's always very attractive, right? When the value of Bitcoin is going up, then people want to pay attention. They're very interested. Unfortunately, Bitcoin's fees are out of control, and they have gotten that way basically within the last several months. And so now that we finally have closed them on the deal of taking Bitcoin, it's no longer really something you want to do.
Not really viable as a means of microtransactions.
Right. So, like, a business owner would love to be paid in Bitcoin, but the customers aren't as likely to want to pay in Bitcoin because the customer pays the fee to send the Bitcoin. And right now the fees are at about a median of $33 today, and earlier this week as high as $35, $30.
That's down.
Range.
It's not quite affordable.
Yeah, and that's for the median transaction. There was a transaction I tried to send today that was a $100 recommended fee, so sometimes it's more. But anyway, luckily, the fact that Bitcoin is so messed up right now, and I hope it gets fixed at some point in the future, but the fact that it's so messed up hasn't soured people on the idea of new money, internet money, cryptocurrency, because I had never said the word Dash to these people ever in the last year, because I'd never gotten them on board with Bitcoin, so why confuse them with a second cryptocurrency? But when I went in to finally set them up with Bitcoin, I gave them a brief explanation about what had been happening with the fees, and I said, there's this other option that you could do. I would prefer to pay you with this. They're like, oh, sure, let's do that. They just want to be in on this technological evolution. And so that's so refreshing to me that it's not that hard to, once somebody's accepted the idea of cryptocurrency through pitching them Bitcoin, it's not hard to bring them on to something like Dash or Bitcoin Cash or Litecoin or any of these other ones that are out there that are competing with BTC. So we did that this afternoon, got them set up with Dash, and paid for my burrito in this case today with Dash, which was great. And Dash is decentralized and run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions, and anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. You can join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today and find out more at Dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now. Just go to Dash.org and you'll find out why. As we go to your calls and thoughts here, let's talk to Ramona in Virginia Beach. Ramona, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Chris.
Hi. I know you're not going to agree with anything that I say.
Okay.
So just forewarning you.
You don't know that.
I disagree with, well, I do. I disagree with most of what you said about the open borders and the immigration.
We haven't really said that much about it, but please, go ahead.
Okay, well, I know, but the FBI, that part of it, as far as I know, they've not been involved in many of the ones that have been successful. I don't know what the statistics are for the ones that they report on, but
it's almost all of them.
Open borders is a huge mistake. I think that, in my opinion, and I think that stopping most of the immigration right now is a good idea until we get the system where it works.
Are you advocating a police state?
No.
No. How do you plan to stop immigration?
Well, I think the answer would be, just if you come from certain countries, you're not allowed in until we go through a vast, long
some people are going to come here
process.
anyway, right? Like, the big fear is there's all these so-called illegal immigrants who are just not stopping at immigration checkpoints or whatever, and they're just coming in.
Right.
So how do you plan to solve that?
Well, it's the percentage of people coming across that border right now has reduced significantly. I believe around 70%.
I heard it. I heard it was back up to Obama levels. I saw a headline about that within the last couple of weeks.
Okay, well, I did not see that.
But regardless, what are you going to do?
I would be surprised about that then.
Even if it has gone down, let's give it to you. Let's say it's gone down, and what has provided that? What has made that happen?
We need to do what they've been doing lately, which allows
checkpoints?
The border guards to do their job.
You mean
and
checkpoints?
Not hamper them. Yes.
Okay, so you do support a police state. I just want to make sure we're clear.
Well, different people have a different idea of what a police state. To me, when I'm traveling freely and I'm stopped for no reason other than I'm traveling, that's kind of...
Other than you're crossing a border into a country that's not your country?
Well, no. I can speak, I can't speak personally, but I can talk about New Hampshire, where the show is broadcast from, where people were traveling within the state.
Yep.
And here you have a ICE checkpoint. But
that's not what I'm talking about.
No, but what I am saying is this is immigration within a U.S. state, and we're as close to the Canadian border, which I'm not going to make a direct comparison to Mexican border, but we're close enough where that type of thing happens up here.
Right, and you used to not even have to worry about showing anything when you went across that border.
Correct.
Several years ago.
So you don't support
I'm talking about erring on the side of safety for the American citizen.
Well, I'd rather err on the side of freedom.
And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that.
Well, I think that what's wrong with that is...
You're not going to have freedom if you have people coming into the country illegally that aren't educated.
Madam, there has never been a single immigrant who has ever been a threat, whether they are so-called illegal or not, who's ever been a threat in any way.
The one that just ran over the people up in New York was an illegal immigrant.
No. You didn't even let me finish my statement.
Okay.
There are not threats to my freedom. The threat to my freedom is the United States federal government and the state governments and the city governments all around this place. These are the people who are putting innocent, peaceful people behind bars who've never harmed another person. If somebody harms another person, I don't care what plot of land they're from on Earth, they need to pay recompense to the victims.
So are you going to volunteer the member of your family to be the chosen one?
Oh, you broke
sorry.
up there at the end.
Your phone broke up there. Huh?
Just repeat that last line.
Are you going to volunteer your family member to be the chosen one to be harmed before somebody does something?
We live in New Hampshire. Everybody here's armed, so nobody's going to get harmed by people generally here. It's a very safe place. Thank you for the call tonight. Look, hey, she supports a police state. She wants checkpoints. I don't know about you, but that doesn't seem like freedom to me. Show us your papers. That's happening here now in the United States. And it's not okay. It's Free Talk Live. More coming up.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. $39.95 and free economy shipping. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Makes the perfect stocking stuffer. Get your Bug Assault today.
If you or someone you care about loves outdoor adventure, then check out slingbow.com for some unique holiday gift ideas. That's slingbow.com, where we have some innovative new products for the archer, hunter, or bow fishing enthusiast in your family. Now through January, use the promo code HOLIDAY to get free shipping in the US or Canada. And from all of us at Slingbow Industries, have a safe, joyous, and peaceful holiday season.
I mean, it's just so hard to believe that it's really all gone.
It was in this living room 3 weeks ago that the Talbot family discovered their DVR had suddenly and inexplicably crashed, deleting more than 5 years' worth of recorded live events and miniseries.
I keep having flashbacks to that day, to that moment when I realized everything was gone.
You hear stories about people who mismanage their device settings, but you never really think it could happen to you. Honestly, it feels like some sort of a dream, like when I wake up, I'll be able to just go downstairs, turn on the TV, and all the episodes will be there again, as if nothing had ever happened.
Friends and family of the Talbots have pledged their support, organizing DVD donations and offering passwords to online streaming services while the family struggles to move on.
We know that we'll never be able to replace all the hours of programming that we had, but I think in the end we'll be just fine, as long as we have our 5 seasons of Seinfeld on DVD.
This is the Onion News Network.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road underground market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, dial toll free, and join us on the radio waves here. Our number is 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733, and Skype in at Skype username LRN.FM. With you in the studio tonight, it's me, Ian.
And Chris.
Also want to let you know about Anarchapulco. It is coming up, and it's going to be here sooner than you think. It's happening February 15th through the 18th. I had the pleasure of going for the first time this year. It's happening in, once again, Acapulco, Mexico. And this year's event, again, it was almost a year ago because it's a wintertime event, was fantastic. Great excuse to get out of the cold and get into the warmth down in Acapulco. At, in this case, the Princess Resort, where you'll be able to see great liberty-oriented speakers like G. Edward Griffin, Jeffrey Tucker, Roger Ver, Larkin Rose, Jeff Berwick, Bruce Fenton, Brett Venat, Julia Taransky, Dana Martin, Juan Galtz, Adam Kokesh, Kerry Wedler, Vich Yedlika, and Sterling Lujan, plus live musical performances from Jordan Page, Backwards, Rob Hustle, and more. Great parties, networking. It's a great opportunity to come hang out at the Princess Resort in Acapulco, Mexico, February 15th through the 18th for the main event. But there are other events that are going to be surrounding it, so get all the details on all of them, and you can get your tickets with a 10% discount for the regular ticket price by using code FTL at anarchapulco.com. So we'll see you there because Free Talk Live will be broadcasting from the event again in 2018. Code FTL to go get your tickets right now for Anarchapulco at anarchapulco.com. As we continue, let's talk to Tom in Utah. You can bring up what you want. Tom, go ahead with your thoughts.
Well, you were talking about immigration issues. If you'll open up hudhell.com or hudhell.us,
Hudhell?
Alias for hudhell.com or .us, either one. Hudhell.com. It'll open up, and you'll see what you might think is not connected, but in fact, I've been assaulted and gone after because I was exposing the number one sheltering instrument of the undocumented.
What's that mean?
The number one landlord for sheltering the undocumented is HUD. In 2008, I had a family contact me with the Del Rio baby, and as I started to expose the cause of the baby's illness, my life turned to hell because I did not know at the time that I was actually exposing the number one housing unit and the number one sanctuary providing landlord.
Okay, I'm not really sure what HUD giving housing to so-called undocumented
is the website called gassingamerica.com, and that's how I found it?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
so this has to do
yeah,
but I think what this is about is there's been a number of cases in the manufactured home.
This is like poor constructed homes.
It's not poor constructed, but some of the materials that are being used tend to leach dangerous chemicals and things like that.
It's not just that. They literally have designed the units in error of heating and ventilation code. But as I exposed that, my life turned to hell because I found out that was the number one housing unit used by the illicit businessmen, and HUD is the provider. Every single manufactured mobile home in America produced since 1976 is HUD controlled and HUD regulated. And even if you have a HUD unit or a mobile home unit on your property, and you own the property, HUD still is the regulatory agency over that unit inside.
Unusual claim. I've never heard that before, but okay. What about it, though? I mean, that we already know the government has its fingers into all kinds of areas of life. Right. So what does all that have to do with immigration? I mean, I'm against the federal government entirely, so you're not going to find me supporting the HUD group.
Yeah, if you watch the film Food Incorporated, the last segment of that film, they didn't realize they were exposing this factor. But you'll see the coyotes delivering their families or their human traffic to the manufactured mobile homes owned by IBP there in Garden City, Kansas. And this is common throughout the United States. The industries that utilize the slave labor brown labor, as I call it now. The way they can get away with housing them without documents is to purchase and own or lease a manufactured or mobile home.
So you would agree that the way to solve this problem is to completely abolish the federal government and have no HUD, no immigration whatsoever, and allow people to come to property where they are welcome by private property owners. You would agree that's the solution then, right?
Well, what's really interesting is if you're a private owner, you're not going to lease your apartment or your home to somebody without documents.
Why wouldn't I?
But
as long as they got
have
cash. That's all I care about.
Yeah, I'm kind of good with that.
What do you think? I'm some kind of obedient serf for the government? Is that what you are?
Well,
just because they're going to tell us I have to get all this documentation before I can rent out a room to somebody, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, only an obedient slave would do something like that.
Well, yeah, I understand what you're saying, Ian, but not everybody sees it that way.
I understand that. That's what it is, though.
It is hard to argue with.
Well,
who the hell wants to fill out paperwork?
I can tell you from my experience dealing with the Spanish community, the number one factor to draw them to America is the capability of sheltering their family from the weather.
What?
Nobody would come here, even for a job, if they had to live in a sleeping bag out in the field.
You know they've got shelter in Mexico, Tom. Thank you for the call tonight.
I see what he's saying, though. But if you're going to come, you wouldn't want to go to a country that doesn't have any place to stay.
You know what? They
so
figured
we have
that out
that.
in the past.
Right,
yeah,
right.
People still wanted to come here even when HUD wasn't around. That's how the country was great, right? Like, we had people coming from all around the world with $100 or less in their pocket or whatever, and they made it happen. They figured it out. They brought the entrepreneurial spirit with them, and my experience with immigrants to this country, whether they be Hispanic or from elsewhere, is that they are very hardworking people who appreciate the opportunity to have a better life for themselves and their families.
For most part, that's been my experience too.
Yeah,
not 100%.
No, not 100%.
But I can't say 100% about any group of people.
No, there's plenty of people that were native born who are sucking off the welfare teat. Let's continue here. We got Todd. He's in Indianapolis, listening to WIBC FM. Hello, Todd.
Hi guys, how's it going?
Hey, good, Todd. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Good. Hey, I want to talk a little bit about cryptocurrency.
Great.
The whole Bitcoin crash that's been going on lately. I know it's not a crash. It's gonna come
That's
back.
right. For listeners that are not familiar, Bitcoin earlier this week hit a peak of nearly $20,000 US per Bitcoin, and then took a tumble over the last few days down to as low as $11,000. So losing almost 50% of its value in a matter of 2 days' time, basically.
Yeah, and depending on what exchange you go to, I'm seeing a price of around $14,980. It's been in the 15,000
today.
So its imminent death was then it was kind of back up to where it was when it crashed.
It bounced back a bit. Go ahead, Todd, with your thoughts on it. Go ahead.
Definitely. Yeah, it's not going to die, so I wasn't trying to scare anybody there, but it's definitely going to come back to that 6,000 range. But what I noticed during that crash is that XRP Ripple kind of stayed the same or maybe even jumped up a little bit. I was just trying to get your guys' thoughts. What do you think about XRP maybe being like a safe haven for the volatility?
For listeners who are unfamiliar, Bitcoin was the first cryptocurrency that hit the world. And Ripple, I don't even know if it counts as a cryptocurrency. Does it? I don't know enough about it.
It's a token. And to give listeners
some kind of banking thing, isn't it?
It is. A little bit of background. The company Ripple basically has two products. One is the Ripple protocol, which allows banks to set up these channels using Ripple to exchange currency sort of from bank to bank around the world. And a lot of banks have jumped on using the Ripple protocol. Very cool. They can transfer money without going through SWIFT, which is a bank-based system. The routing system. It takes days,
which is the
and
Federal
days
Reserve. This is something I learned this year about. When you send an ACH or a wire transfer, it's not going bank to bank. It's going through the Federal Reserve, which is why it's closed on weekends and holidays and whatever. Let's talk a little more about that coming up here. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. I don't know a whole lot about Ripple, but I know they added the regulator from New York to their board of directors. directors, and to
Ben
me,
Lasky.
that's reason enough to not be interested. More coming up here, 8:55, 450, free like freedom, but that doesn't mean you can't make money on it. It's Free Talk Live.
From the third letter of Captain Mark. The Crown's observation conditions us to be dishonest with ourselves. Therefore, constant surveillance produces a society of constant deception. Honest communication is the seed of civilized conduct. To deny us this seed is to deny us its fruits. But the Crown's primary objective is to stifle free thought itself, to make its subjects incapable of dissent. Seasoned pirates have always encrypted messages and codes and ciphers, so intercepted transmissions were incomprehensible. But today, the Crown possesses advanced tools of pattern recognition that document, profile, and predict our every move. Today, piracy requires hailing frequencies completely invisible to the Crown. We are tired of poltergeists in the static. Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels, or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-765-9681 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-765-9681. Again, that's 800-765-9681.
This is novelist Tom Robbins. When my mother was diagnosed with glaucoma, her conservative Virginia physician told her there was only one treatment that might ease her pain and save her eyesight. That treatment was medical marijuana, which he could not prescribe. I offered to get her some and teach her how to use it effectively, but my father objected because marijuana was against the law. So my mother, who loved to read and walk in nature, was condemned to grow cruelly, unnecessarily blind. Tragedies like this happen all the time, but they don't have to keep happening. To learn more about medical marijuana, call the Marijuana Policy Project at 1-877-JOIN-MPP or visit them on the web at mpp.org.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Talk Live. You may join us here, and yes, even though it is the Christmas weekend here, we're still sitting here live doing radio for you, and And thanks to our board operator over there at the Genesis Communications Network for coming in on a holiday. And thank you, Chris.
Nice. Oh, is it? Oh, is his name Chris too?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Hi, board op. Merry Christmas.
I love him, whoever he or she is. I guess it could be a she, but in the radio business, it's not that likely. The toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE like freedom. If you want to join us, we're going to continue with your calls in a moment, but I do want to talk a little further about this Ripple thing, which is it still the number 4? I think it was number 3, but it got booted out by Bitcoin Cash on the top 10 chart a little while after Bitcoin Cash came out. It was number 3.
Yeah, but then it kept Bitcoin Cash dropped down. Ripple is back at number 3.
It's
Bitcoin
number 3
Cash
now.
number 4, Litecoin number 5. Top 2, Bitcoin, and then Ethereum.
Oh, that's because you said Ripple had a big run-up over $1 for like the first time ever, right? So that's probably where that where it got its number 3 status back from.
They've everything. So really over the last couple months, we were talking about this off the air, but everything's been up. The entire crypto market has
been over $500 billion for all cryptocurrencies combined, and it was over $600 billion. But there was a down day within the last couple of days where everything went down.
My whole screen was red. So you had Bitcoin taking a 33-40% hit, Bitcoin Cash taking a 25 to 35% hit depending on the exchange.
But now everything's going up today.
Now everything's back up, So I think the real test is going to be after the holidays.
Yeah.
Because now is the time of the year that people, they've saved up for Christmas, or they're in that mood where they're spending.
Sure.
They're also spending on cryptocurrency. So, and then at least in retail and in most businesses, you hit January and everybody's like,
slows down.
Oh my God, how much money did I spend?
Somebody said on one of the we're in these various different cryptocurrency chat rooms here, and there's one on the Riot platform for folks in New Hampshire. And somebody there said that apparently there's a certain pattern that has happened over the years where altcoins, the things that compete with Bitcoin, basically, the Ripples and the Ethereums and those things, they tend to go up in the beginning of the year. So that may be, if that holds true again, you never know what the future is going to hold with cryptocurrency because we've never been here before. This is, completely new territory, although the prices overall do tend to, it seems, go up over time, despite this big drop that happened this week. And you can look at the charts and see it was a big drop. There's no doubt about it. If you go to coinmarketcap.com and you look at the charts, it dropped down. The whole market capitalization had peaked up at about $640 billion. $640 billion for all of the cryptocurrencies combined.
Yes.
And that happened on December 21st. It then, over the next couple of days, fell down to as low as, according to this chart, $422 billion. So $200 billion, more than $200 billion of value just came right off the top of the entire global marketplace. But now it's already back up to 596, 500 and something.
It's nuts. And if you're new to this, just to give you an idea of how fast this is accelerating and how much money is flying out of government fiat money and into cryptocurrencies and tokens, it took 8 years for the market cap of all cryptocurrencies, and it started out with just Bitcoin till
until about 2013.
So that came out in 2010. I guess that would have been the first.
Litecoin? I thought it was 2012, 2013.
Bitcoin. First
Bitcoin
mined in 2009?
Yeah, Bitcoin
was first mined? Okay. Yeah. So 8 years. It took from 2009 to June of 2017 for the entire market cap of all cryptocurrencies to hit $100 billion.
That's right.
It took from June until November 1st of this year. What are we talking? 4 months? 5 months? 5 months to go from 100 billion to 200 billion, to double.
Huge.
It took from about June 1st to about November 1st to about November 26th, about 26 days for it to go from 200 billion to 300 billion.
That's right.
And it keeps getting lower, these jumps.
And 400 billion on December 7th, and then to 500 billion on December 15th, and then to 600 billion on December 17th.
It's accelerating, and I just, one wonders at what point, what will be the first fiat currency that just crumbles. I can't wait to find out.
Venezuela's bolivar is in the process of. I mean, it is basically. The Venezuela bolivar is worth less than the Satoshi, I think, at this point.
Of course, but
Satoshi is the smallest unit of a Bitcoin.
I want this to be a good fight. I want it to be like a G.
Take down a big one.
A G10 or a G20.
You want to take down like
country.
a Russian ruble or something. Like
exactly.
That.
That's what I want to see.
What would that look like? I mean,
disruptive. Is an understatement.
Yeah, it would be fascinating to watch that happen. So Ripple is one of these competitors out there, but it's not really a crypto that was rolled in the same way that like Bitcoins and those were, right?
No.
Like it was different from the get-go, more focused on banking, and while anybody can get their hands on it and use it, it's not really useful for the individual besides as just a speculative investment kind of thing. And for those who've invested in it, like a lot of cryptos, it's worked out
pretty well.
It's just that when you add the prime New York State banking regulator who is the person who created the BIT license, which is the regulatory structure that has driven Bitcoin and cryptocurrency businesses out of the state of New York. It destroyed the cryptocurrency business there and has only left a handful of people who could, like the big Coinbases of the world, these big mega corporations who can handle the $100,000 fee that you need or whatever. The
$5,000 just for the opportunity, for the pleasure of filling out the paperwork.
Yeah, but you got to have like $100,000 at least to get through this process, from what I understand. And so it just drove all kinds of business out. The fact that they gave that guy a position on their board, to me, is reason number one to not support them in any way, shape, or form. The regulators are not your friends. They are not people who are going to help the cryptocurrency world. They're going to hinder it. But anyway.
Just to answer that last caller, he said, what do we think about Ripple? And that's certainly what I think you and I agree we feel about the company. But again,
you have some.
I do have
I've never
some.
had Ripple.
Dude, it's horrible. I hate things that I'm morally opposed to, but I'm making money on, so I can't sell it. But the long and the short of it is you have this Ripple protocol that banks do indeed use to transfer money from one bank to another very efficiently and outside of the banking system.
Because all I can do is send wire transfers, which go through the Federal Reserve and cost a bunch of money.
You can use Bitcoin, you could use Litecoin, you could use Bitcoin Cash, you can use all these other things.
I need to transfer dollars. I can't use those other things for dollars.
But banks are even more regulated. They're more regulated than we are because now we have decentralized assets, digital assets that we can use. But so the Ripple protocol works really well at moving things from point A to point B, and it does it much cheaper and much faster. The idea behind the Ripple token is that if two countries, two central banks or two banks have different currencies and they don't have a established trading relationship between those two currencies. Yeah. So I'm just going to pull something like the Lithuanian wombat versus the Australian dollar. Let's say that banks don't trade that pair.
They really call it the wombat?
I'm just making up names too. So if this were the case, then what banks could do is say, okay, let's agree to trade in Ripple, in XRP. So it becomes that currency that can be moved from side to side. The problem for Ripple is this. The Ripple protocol works so well that there are very few use cases for the token at all.
Outside of this banking thing.
Well, even within the banking thing. That established pairing and trading occurs between virtually all currencies, and certainly with the major ones. Mm-hmm. Everybody has a relationship with the U.S. dollar, every currency in the world. So it's sort of a solution in search of a problem, which is why I'm not bullish on Ripple. I don't see it as a long-term win like some people I know do. They think it's great. But
yet you do have some.
I do have. I'm going to hold on to it until it really starts dropping.
Let's go to your calls and thoughts. We got Ryan in Bowling Green listening to WKCT. Hello, Ryan. What's on your mind tonight?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey.
Or good evening, I should
it's
say.
It's morning in the UK. Go ahead.
It is somewhere, right?
Yep.
All right, so here, to the caller that was, there was confusion. I think they're on a police state. I'm going to refer back to the godfather of the libertarian movement, and that's Ron Paul. He made a statement. He was asked a question. He said, does he believe America is in a police state? And his answer was very clever, but it's true. He just reversed the question. He said, well, if the absence of a police state means that you can live free and do what you want and build on your own property and so forth. He said then the reverse of that must be a police state where you can't even build on your own property, and he went through a study.
Nice.
Which, of course, you can't do here. Hey, Ryan, hang on. We're going to bring you back. If you want to continue your comments, we'd love to have you coming up here after the news. Sure. More Free Talk Live on the way. 855-450-FREE. If you don't think you're in a police state, what would make you think you are?
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, December 23rd, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.38 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,275 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 4.5 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $15,065. Antiwar.com reports the ACLU filed a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit on Thursday, naming the Defense, Justice, and State Departments, seeking to compel the release of the new rules governing drone strikes and overseas assassinations by the Trump administration. President Obama's presidential policy guidance was ultimately forced to be made public after a similar lawsuit, but his rules were subsequently revised by President Trump. Exactly how they were revised and what they say now has remained a total secret, however. It is generally assumed that the restrictions were greatly eased, given President Trump's own comments about killing the enemy in general, and had sought to largely eliminate pre-kill screenings to get the assassinations faster. The ACLU said they were particularly concerned about reports that the continuing and imminent threat requirement from the Obama document had been eliminated as part of an effort to make killing a looser system in general.
You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's fans.fppradio.com.
UPI reports President Donald Trump's latest travel ban executive order is unlawful, according to a panel of judges in the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. The appellate court panel's decision roughly aligned with a previous district court injunction, according to BuzzFeed. But Friday's ruling specifically only offers relief to would-be travelers to the U.S. with a bona fide relationship with a person or entity in the United States. The San Francisco-based panel wrote in Friday's ruling, the proclamation, like its predecessor executive orders, relies on the premise that the Immigration and Nationality Act Act vested the president with a broad power to regulate the entry of aliens. Those powers, however, are not without limit. We conclude that the president's issuance of the proclamation once again exceeds the scope of his delegated authority. Trump's latest travel ban, signed in September, forbids U.S. entry for travelers from Chad, Somalia, Iran, Libya, Syria, Yemen, and North Korea. It also bans some Venezuelan government officials and their families from entering the country. One other federal appellate court, based in Richmond, Virginia, is looking at the legality of the executive order.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
Reuters reports U.S. investigators said on Friday that just 6 seconds before an Amtrak train derailed off a bridge and onto a highway near Seattle, the engineer remarked that the train was speeding. The engineer then applied the brakes, but apparently not the emergency brake, according to a statement released by the National Transportation Safety Board after retrieving and reviewing data from the data recorder and inward and outward-facing cameras. Monday's crash south of Seattle killed 3 people and sent about 100 others to the hospital. All 12 cars and one of the 2 engines jumped the track at a curve, sending some cars tumbling from a bridge onto an interstate highway. The NTSB previously said the train was going 80 miles per hour in a 30 mile per hour zone. On Friday, it said the final recorded speed of the locomotive was 78 miles per hour. The train's video cameras were damaged in the crash, but investigators were able to download the content with the manufacturer's help at the NTSB lab in Washington, according to the board. The board said about 6 seconds prior to the derailment, the engineer made a comment regarding an overspeed condition. The engineer's actions were consistent with the application of the locomotive's brakes just before the recording ended. It did not appear the engineer placed the brake handle in emergency braking mode. The camera did not show the crew using any personal electronic devices. Amtrak President Richard Anderson on Friday urged faster national rollout of another safety measure, positive train control, that can automatically slow speeding trains and might have prevented the Washington accident. Positive train control must be installed on all U.S. trains and tracks by the end of 2018. It was not operational on the track where the Amtrak train derailed in Washington. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
This is the Onion Week in Review. According to sources, all 6.5 million residents of Indiana spontaneously formed thousands of perfectly uniform rows throughout the state Monday morning and established a collective consciousness. Saying, "We are Indiana," the new hive mind talked and moved in unison, with citizens working together to build a massive geometric superstructure in downtown Indianapolis where they would gather to sleep, breed, and feed.
All corns for Indiana. All corns for Indiana.
The collective state went on to report that soon Ohio, Illinois, Michigan, Kentucky, and Canada would all become Indiana. Persons close to Phoenix area friends Jake Welter and Mike Seflin confirmed Friday that the two men are absolutely incapable of greeting each other like normal human beings.
Beep, 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 beep.
Sources say the two full-grown men simply cannot walk into a room and shake each other's hands, relying instead on elaborate dances, forced pop culture references, and extended fake fighting. Neither Welter nor Seflin was available for comment as they were busy pretending to rip each other's faces off.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the second hour of the program, and you can join us here toll free at 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Here in the studio with you tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
So in the last hour, for those of you just tuning in, we covered the Trump travel ban. Number 3, overturned again.
Mm-hmm.
And then also that led to a conversation about immigration. And we haven't gotten to, from FEE, the Foundation for Economic Education, their strong case for open borders, where they go through 10 solid points. We'll get to that if we get the chance. But of course, your calls are where we're going to go first. Ryan is still on the line with us in Bowling Green, Kentucky. You were trying to get some points out about immigration, but we were up against the clock there at the end of the last hour. So please go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, I was just talking about, what a police state is
right.
When you can't do anything without asking Big Brother, then you've got a police state. We've got, let's just be honest.
Yeah, and we've had that for a long time.
That question. checkpoints and all that. Papers, may I see your papers, please? That goes back to Germany, for crying out loud. No, I don't want that, and I don't want a wall. This ain't Germany. Jesse Ventura's right. What do you do one day when America's police state gets so bad that you need to get out and you got a wall to get through to get out?
Wah, wah.
You know?
Right.
Surprise!
It
the
can
wall
happen,
works both
guys.
ways.
Well,
It sure does.
And so do
you know.
I was going to say, so
But
do
I was gonna say-
our passport system and things like that. I mean, right now the IRS has said, you know, we're going to look at all passport applications, and if you have back taxes owed, you know, we may deny your ability to get a passport.
Amazingly, they didn't deny me.
Well, there you go.
Well, what I was going to say is that as a libertarian, just to be fair, on the other side of the equation, I'm not interested in giving people free money to come over here either.
Yeah, right. No doubt.
Like
no
you
doubt.
said, if they got a $100 bill and want to come over here, or $300 or whatever they got, and they got the right spirit, hey, all about it. If
Right.
you come over here, you can sing too. It's not a guarantee that you come to America, you're going to automatically, be in the land of milk and honey. Nobody is, suggesting that. And if they need help when they get over here, there's certainly a lot of help in the faith-based communities, and I support them.
Absolutely.
That's
Voluntary
where my
help.
money goes.
Voluntary charitable help for people is the way to go, not welfare. Welfare, as we know, gets people hooked on the welfare payments and work in the system and all that. And so I totally agree with you. What's unfortunate, though, is when people who call themselves libertarians are out there claiming, oh, I understand that, we should have immigration, but we can't have it yet until we roll back the government in these other areas. So maybe someday, but until then, we're just going to need a police state.
Yeah. Well, the idea that you can basically it's libertarians saying they can centrally plan how to roll back the state,
Right.
which
It's
makes
crazy.
no sense at all. I was also going to say I've met a lot of illegal immigrants. I grew up in Eastern Oregon, and it was very agricultural, and that was more than half of our population.
Sure.
Not one of them I've ever met came here for the benefits. They came here to get a
came here to
job.
work.
Yeah.
To get out of where they came from.
Yeah. I mean, that was what it was about. It wasn't so they could come here and sign up on welfare. And I know that there are probably some that do, but I've never met one.
Ryan, great call. Thanks for sharing your thoughts tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. Here's a story from Fee. So let's get into some of these points they make. It's Brian Kaplan over there making what he calls a strong case for open borders. He says further, there is no principled pro-liberty case for immigration restrictions. And this has been kind of a big issue in the libertarian movement over the last few years, has been this group of so-called libertarians who's come out and advocated for immigration restrictions. And I'm sorry, if you believe in the non-aggression principle, which is to say that you don't think that aggressive force should be used against peaceful people, at all, then you can't possibly support immigration restrictions, because it always involves using aggressive force against peaceful people to try to, close the borders or evict people from the United States and so on. So this, again, Brian Kaplan, he says, Saturday I once again debated, and this was published this month, at the Center for Immigration Studies' Mark Krikorian on open borders, this time for the Students for Liberty Regional Conference at the University of Maryland. Here is my opening statement. Number one, this is under resolved. The United States should pursue a policy of open borders. Number one, under open borders, all human beings, regardless of citizenship, are free to work for willing employers, rent from willing landlords, and buy from willing vendors. It's a simple deduction from the basic libertarian principle that government should not interfere with capitalist acts between consenting adults. Further, I would say the government shouldn't interfere with communist acts between consenting adults, or any other kinds of acts between consenting adults, because as long as you have consent, then you should not have a crime. And so if I want to rent to somebody who is coming from another country, another plot of land on Earth, then I should be able to rent to that person, as long as the people that are in between me and that person and that property are also willing to allow that person to cross through their land. I mean, all of these things can be solved in the marketplace for people that want to have their piece of property that is completely walled off and protected. Mm-hmm. Go right ahead and build it. There's nothing stopping you. Go ahead, put yourself a town together, put a big old wall around it, put guards up on the we have gated neighborhoods, right?
So call it a castle.
Whatever. Number two, The only principled libertarian objection to this is that the citizens of each country are its rightful owners, so they're entitled to regulate migration as they see fit. But if you believe this, number 3, he says, there is no principled libertarian objection to any act of government. You can't move into my house without my consent, but you also can't open a store in my house without my consent. Practice your religion in my house without my consent. Preach libertarianism in my house without my consent, or live in my house without paying me all the rent that I demand. If citizens are the rightful owners of the country, then they have every right to regulate and tax any aspect of life that they like. That's an interesting argument. And I've never heard that one made as a rebuttal to the claim that, well, this country's our house. Wasn't Heather saying something about that on Thursday? I thought Daryl told me something.
I don't know.
Were you guys talking about immigration this week? Well, anyway, one of our co-hosts on Thursday nights, which is normally the night that you're on, Chris, is definitely not a principled libertarian. It's led to some very interesting conversations between the hosts of the show.
It certainly has. And callers.
And I hope that all those positions can be enlightening to folks who are listening. Number 4, fortunately, the belief that citizens are country's rightful owners is crazy. The social contract is an utter myth. Contracts require unanimous consent, and no country has ever had unanimous consent. And this is something we've talked about a lot on Free Talk Live over the years. This social contract is just a fantasy. It's just an excuse, a cover story to paint a picture for people of something that sounds grand, right? Like, ooh, the government isn't just a gang of strangers ruling over you by threat of force and actual force. No. This is all part of a social contract that you agreed to the moment you were pushed from your mother's womb. It's a crazy belief system.
It's a very simple way to give legitimacy to an illegitimate argument, and this is one that will be used by the left and the right.
The social contract.
The social contract, and sometimes it'll be couched in, if we didn't have these things, as part of being a citizen. They may not say social contract, but that's the implication, and it's just silly.
Well, without the social contract, it would be chaos.
It would be. It would be complete anarchy. There'd be dogs and cats living together and everything else.
He's got more points. We'll continue them in a moment, but we're going to go to your calls and thoughts here. Herschel is on the line in Indianapolis listening to WIBC FM. Hey, Herschel.
Hey, how's it going, fellas?
Hey, what's on your mind tonight?
Hey, I recently found out about the Bitcoin thing, kind of late comer to it, and was kind of doing a little research and considering building a couple of small rigs and doing some mining and hashing. But the further I dug, the more it seemed like I kind of missed the wave on that. But then you guys were talking about other cryptocurrencies.
Right, sure.
Is there any viability in doing any mining anymore or not?
Yes. You can't really. I don't think right now. Bitcoin's certainly not. It's not with the amount of money that you're going to spend on equipment and electricity. It's going to be too expensive. Ethereum the same way, I think. But some of these smaller cryptocurrencies, absolutely.
If you go to, I think the site is whattomine.com. They're not a sponsor or anything like that. But that one will actually show you a list of, based on the kind of hardware you're going to use, what's the most profitable coin to mine. I believe Monero is one of the ones that is toward the top of the list at the moment. But if you want, stand by, Herschel. Bitcoin mining, is it worth it? It's Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite. Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com. DINOVITE.com.
Thinking about getting into cryptocurrency? It's time you looked into Dash. Dash is digital money that you can use to send instant and private payments anywhere for pennies. Dash offers a decentralized network where miners are rewarded for keeping it strong and safe. Dash has made a huge impact in the crypto world. Start your journey. Check out Dash.org for more information and get in now on the future of cryptocurrency. Dash.org.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Shop online and support Free Talk Live. Every purchase you make at shop.freetalklive.com helps spread a message of liberty. From shop.freetalklive.com, you can shop at places like Walmart, Newegg, Amazon UK, Amazon Canada, Omaha Steaks, HostGator, and more. Plus, you can get discounts on web hosting, legal documents, or pretty much anything using saveatpurse.com. Just bookmark the link and help Free Talk Live while shopping online. Thank you for shopping with shop.freetalklive.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll-free and join us on the radio. Here are numbers 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. Joining you tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
Coming up in January of 2018, Miami is set to host the longest-running and most successful cryptocurrency conference in history. It's in its 6th year now. And you can go to btcmiami.com. It's going to be happening the weekend of January 17th and 18th, so less than a month from now. More than 1,000 Bitcoin community members will be converging for this monumental conference aimed at driving cryptocurrency from niche to mainstream. Of course, they're going to be loaded up with great cryptocurrency-related speakers. Go to btcmiami.com to get details, and you can get tickets with the code for $50 off. The code you need is FTLIVEXX. So FTL Live, if you will, or FT Live XX. FT Live XX to get $50 off. BTCmiami.com. Again, it's happening in Miami, January 17th and 18th. As we go back to Herschel in Indianapolis, you'd asked about cryptocurrency mining. Bitcoin, as we pointed out, is, and as you've researched, very difficult to get into these days because of the high equipment costs up front, whereas some of these other cryptocurrencies, you could mine with a computer that has a graphics card in it. Now, the bigger, the beefier the graphics card, the more...
And the more graphics cards you hook up to your computer.
That's true as well. And there's also custom mining hardware that that you can buy that is more dedicated to just mining, rather than like if your computer's running, it's running Windows or Linux or whatever. And so there's other processes that are going on. So there are kind of different ways to get into it. Of course, you can also buy mining pool operation at certain mining pools like pool.bitcoin.com. Then you don't have to do any of the hardware stuff yourself, but also you got to pay fees in order to get into somebody else's mining pool like that. But Herschel, the altcoins are definitely the way to go as far as the dollar per whatever kilowatt hours that you might get, because basically in most of these things you're converting electricity into cryptocurrency. And in some places that can be a challenge, but if for some reason you're not paying for the electricity, then that might make it a little bit more worthwhile. If you've got a lot of solar power or hydroelectric or something like that. I don't know how profitable mining is even with the altcoins if you're not getting free power in the United States, depending on where you live. So there's a lot of calculations that can be done on this kind of thing to see if it's worth it.
It really is. It's strictly a math problem. That's what it is. Right. And you can go to, and we found the site whattomine.com. And if the top three right now are all coins that a lot of people probably have never heard of: Z Classic, Ubique, and Vivo. Those are the three most profitable to mine right now. And you can plug in what you pay for electricity. You can plug in the hash rate. That's sort of the computing power talk for mining. Plug all that in, and it'll tell you how long it'll take you to break even and how long till you make a profit and how much that profit will be.
It's interesting. Herschel, any comments you want to share or questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, that's great information. I'm a hobbyist. I do electronics, electrical, and electrician by trade.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And, looking to get into it, obviously to make money. But I'm, again, looking at it kind of like a hobby. I thought I kind of looked into the building of the mining machines and, with video cards and, But then the more I looked, I seen it was like 195 years to mine one Bitcoin. So,
yeah, that's kind of scary.
And so, that doesn't make it really feasible. And then I started hearing about other cryptocurrency. I kind of dropped the idea. So then tonight I listened, to you guys' show a lot. Happened to hear you talking about the Bitcoin again and thought it was a good time to call in and talk to somebody who knew a little more about it.
Well, we're glad we could help. And Herschel, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. I was just at a cryptocurrency meetup today here in New Hampshire, and one of the guys that came out, it was treacherous conditions on the road, so it was a
nasty day.
Fairly small attendance, but there were a couple folks who came out, and one of them is a big miner kind of guy. Like big. He's not a physically big guy, but he's into mining.
Right.
And he is mining Monero, which he says is not the most profitable, but it's easy to get in and out of because a lot of exchanges and sites like Shapeshift that allow you to change from one currency to another, they'll accept Monero, whereas some of those other ones, I don't know where you go to trade those things.
Yeah.
But Monero's a big one. It's one of the top 10 currencies, and it's fairly profitable to mine. And he said something, God, I wish I could remember, but he said he was pulling in several $100s a month over the cost of his electricity. Yeah. So he was paying for his electricity and doing very well, because most of the people I've heard of that have tried mining, they kind of buy some hardware, get in, and it doesn't really work out for them. It's just too hard or hard to recoup the costs or it takes too long or whatever. But for him, and it's the middle of winter in New Hampshire, so you can actually the miner can double as an electric heater.
And we've talked to people that are like, yep, I'm heating my garage with mining equipment. And it's really kind of a fascinating thing. There's some great software out there. One of them, it's based on BFG Miner, which has been sort of a standard in Bitcoin mining for years, but it's called Multi-Miner. I've looked into that one a little bit, and it allows you to really not only switch between mining different cryptocurrencies, but set up rules so that as the difficulty on one drops,
it'll change.
It'll automatically switch over. Wow. So you could be mining all kinds of different. So
you don't have to pay attention even.
Yeah, it's really automated.
Let's go to David in Salina, Kansas. Or is it Salina? I'm sorry, David. It's Salina, isn't it?
Is it?
It's Salina, right?
That's okay. Yeah, it's Salina. Everyone that lives in Salina corrects you, but we don't get upset about it, so it's not a big deal.
I swore to God it was Selena.
At least
My
I corrected
apologies.
myself on this one. David, welcome. You're listening to KINA. Go ahead.
Yes. I struggle with the immigration discussion, as a libertarian, because I do believe that people should have the right to travel and to move to make themselves a better life. But of course, living out here, then I've got ultra conservative friends who argue against me, and they're like, well, Kate Steinle would still be alive today. I'm just like, yeah,
right.
but
Who?
You don't know that. I mean, she could have tripped over her own feet and smacked her head on a rock.
Is this
and
somebody
died.
who was a victim
Was this
of
the
a
girl
immigrant?
in San Francisco?
Yes.
Yes.
This was the girl that was the victim out on the pier, but then I'm just like, but what if it was someone who was, quote unquote legal, or U.S. citizen? The travesty in the whole thing is not the fact that she was shot and killed by someone who was supposedly illegal, but the fact that she was just shot and killed.
Absolutely.
And then the travesty of justice where, there wasn't justice actually served.
And the idea is that you're going to solve this problem of, these individual examples of, no doubt, tragic circumstances, that you're going to make all this crime go away by creating a police state, because that's the only thing you can do to keep people out, is to create a place that is so economically poor and so, such a place you don't want to spend time, that it would be actually worse to come to the United States than leave Guatemala or Nicaragua or whatever.
Problem solved then, right?
Yeah. So hang on, David. We'll bring it back here if you got more comments. 855-450 free like freedom. 855-450-3733. You've got a total police state, but at least that one person wouldn't have gotten murdered.
Well,
It's
there
Free
you
Talk
go.
Live.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Katie Armor has been on a mission to manufacture the most comfortable body armor on the market, and we've succeeded. With the release of our CQB technology, we now offer the most comfortable concealable rifle threat body armor available. Things may look good now, but what if you need added protection? Get your very own concealable rifle threat armor today at kdarmor.com. And for a limited time, get all plates at wholesale pricing only at CATIarmor.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
There is no such thing as attention span, according to Jerry Seinfeld, who figures that people have an infinite attention span if you are entertaining them. Hey, he's kept us from channel surfing for several decades, and now he's making more millions as a Las Vegas headliner. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important, especially if you're looking for work. So choose every single word as though it was the last word the person you're speaking to will hear. Otherwise, it might be. Avoid redundancies such as added bonus, advance warning, end result, prior history, or personal belongings. And avoid cliches like the plague. Just kidding. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Live Saturday edition of the program. We invite you to join us on the radio. If you want, you can take control of the airwaves, bring up anything you want. It doesn't have to be about immigration or the police state. Although I did mean to ask a question previously when we had one of the immigration police state supporters on the line who denied being a police state supporter and then went on to say she supported checkpoints. I always like to ask this question. And you don't have to call to answer. You just kind of have to think about it on your own. If you want to call in, you're certainly welcome to do so. But if you're somebody who supports an immigration crackdown or some sort of immigration control and restrictions, as many Americans support, then maybe you should ask yourself, and you don't believe it is a police state currently, you should ask yourself, what are the criteria that would convince you that if you saw these things happening in your town or nearby or wherever, if you saw certain things happening that you would say, well, we sure are in a police state. What are the criteria that would make you think that? Because if it's not checkpoints and armed police everywhere,
right,
I don't know what it is.
Is it people going door to door and arresting people in the middle of the night? What is it that hits you?
All right, so if you want to answer that question, our toll-free number is 855-450, free like freedom. Meanwhile, we go to your calls and thoughts about what you want. Alex is in Georgia, listening online. Go ahead, Alex.
Hey, Ian Bernard, I heard that you were kind of sad and feeling down or whatever listening to the show. I could kind of get that general sense. So I really wanted to call in and wish you a Merry Christmas, and I encouraged some other people to do so.
Well, that's awfully nice, but I'm definitely not feeling down. I mean, everything's great here in New Hampshire, where we've got a fantastic migration of libertarian and liberty-oriented people who are coming here, and we got cryptocurrency activism that is unprecedented, constantly bringing on new businesses accepting cryptocurrency here in across New Hampshire. Just brought a new business on today. There's a lot to be thankful for and grateful for, and I can't imagine why anybody would think I would be sad or down about any of those things. But still,
that's what I was told.
Thanks for the kind words.
As far as the police state thing, I've certainly felt like I was in a police state before when I traveled to Europe, the Netherlands.
Why?
And well, see, it was they were having the gay pride parade or whatever, and of course, because of the influx of like radical Islamists, they had literal soldiers with machine guns walking around everywhere to make sure that like if there was an attack. So you just get this sense of just like armed patrols and like EU and gay pride flags everywhere. It reminded me in my head of like the Nazi occupation with all like the Nazi flags everywhere. That's what it felt like, with like the EU flags everywhere and like machine guns.
Yeah, it sounds creepy. And it sounds like something that you can see here in some parts of the United States as well. I mean, we've seen examples of men with machine guns in like subway systems in New York City. I've seen them in real life. I've seen them on Wall Street.
I was going to say, it sounds like the last inauguration I attended.
There you go. Alex, thanks for the call. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say we've sort of imported the war. Certainly Europe has, us to a much less extent. And it's a really sad thing, I think, to see people walking around, blow themselves up in train stations, and then armed soldiers have to be everywhere in case they do it. I mean, that is a war zone. Like, most of Europe now is a war zone, and America on its borders resembling a war zone because of the drug cartel and backlash against that.
Yeah. That's why prohibition is always a bad idea, and the same thing happened with alcohol. It basically created organized crime, and we expect a different result. There's an interesting statistic that Cato Institute throws out, and I want to fact check it. I want to see what their rationale is, but the statement is this: you're 250 times more likely to be killed by a fellow American than to be killed by a terrorist.
I believe it.
So I kind of get that.
You're also more likely to be killed by a cop.
And if it's not a police officer, it's likely someone in your own family.
Yep.
I mean, these are just statistics that get tossed about, but I always find that one really interesting in that, we are led to believe that terrorists are behind every door and they're on the verge of every border, and if they were, it seems like a lot more people would be getting killed. I don't want that, of course.
Right.
But it just seems like more would be getting through and more would be happening. And
people are surprisingly unradicalized considering how much violence the U.S. federal government has perpetrated on innocent people across the globe. I mean, you'd think there'd be a lot more blowback than there
has been.
Thanks, Alex, for the call tonight. I appreciate it. As we continue your calls and thoughts about what you want, let's go to, I believe we've got Ricky from the Commonwealth on the line here, although actually the Skype is not working the way it's normally supposed to. So we're going to try to bring Ricky from the Commonwealth on here. I think we've got him now. Go ahead, Ricky.
Thank you, Brother Ian.
Yes, sir. You're on the air.
Rick. All right. Well, I'm going to make a quick observation, if I may.
It's never quick with you, Ricky, but you're welcome to give it a try.
Make your observation.
Thank you there, Brother Chris. And then I just got a quick little announcement for you then, all right? Now, here's the thing. I was sitting here thinking as I was smoking my Virginia blend. And,
I'm sorry, Ricky. It's this new accent. You say...
Is it new?
I remember talking to Ricky a year ago, and he sounded like people that I knew from, like, Wilkes-Barre and Scranton.
That's right. You moved up here from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I did. And now you sound like a Southern gentleman. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying your entire tone and demeanor has changed. Go ahead.
I think it's a good thing, Brother Chris. Now, that's right on topic tonight because, see, I love this show, and I love you, and I love Brother Ian. And Brother Ian, you do have a pure heart. And I'll tell you something, first off. I never blame the person that was ever taken advantage of. I blame the person that's taken advantage of that person in life. Now, there's been, you don't
want to blame the victim. Okay.
Yep. We're with you so far.
I look at Free Talk Live, and there's a reason why I originally came. It took me a while to get my mojo working. I didn't come by accident. And I look at the hell that this show has gone through over the years, ever since I've been on, in fact.
Which hell is that exactly?
Are you saying you're bringing hell to the show?
No, well, sometimes there has been. I will say, Brother Ian, as you well know. But no, I'm talking to like last year. I mean, I'm talking through 2016 when, when you basically the show, there was a heavy, there was a whole Reddit. The documents, the statism that was really infiltrating the show from the callers.
What are you talking about? What is this Reddit?
Well, I'll send it to you at some point.
I would love to see a Reddit of people documenting statism on Free Talk Live. Because I guess there's a fairly long list from Thursday nights.
Yeah, I was going to say other than Thursdays. That's okay.
What's going on here?
All right, go ahead.
Well, here's my answer. Now, Ricky from the Commonwealth, one of the things about him is he will stand up against tyranny. Now, I will say one of the things that changed with me is I swore on my honor to tell the truth and uphold the law of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania wherever I may go. So help me God. That changed Ricky from the Commonwealth. Turned a good man into a great
Did
one.
Ricky from the Commonwealth always talk in the third person about himself?
I was just going to ask that.
Actually, Ricky from the Commonwealth did.
Okay.
I need your love to keep me warm.
But see, here's my point I'm making here. I look at Free Talk Live as a reflection of the country, because now here we are in 2017, and it is a reflection. But see here, yeah, the callers, there's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of disarray, really. And I mean, look what happened, brother Chris, on Thursday with Lumpy, and that's where my announcement come in for Thursday. Make note.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing: I stand up against tyranny, including those that are co-hosts on this show. Not all beyond factual inaccuracy.
But yet you supported Hillary Clinton in the 2016 election. So confusing. Ricky, thank you for the call tonight. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733.
Adios, you chicken-plucking little stinker!
You can bring up whatever you want. It is Free Talk Live. Live Saturday edition of the program. 855-450-FREE like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
Whether you share content as a curator or produce it as a creator, the source of your advertising revenue is often limited by intermediaries like YouTube. What if there was a way to connect content creators directly with advertisers, decentralizing attention-based market advertising transactions and putting the control back into the hands of content owners? Introducing the revolutionary Signal Token Protocol by Spective VR. Partnered with Blend Media, the largest network of 360 video content in the world, and featured on Fox Business's Innovations, Spective VR is a 360 VR streaming platform created to be the first use case and early adopter of the Signal Token Protocol, driving real use and allowing Spective to optimize their platform. SpectiveVR.com is hosting a pre-ICO for Signal tokens starting December 8th at a 40% bonus. For early access to the token sale and an exclusive 60% token bonus, sign up for the email list at SpectiveVR.com.
It's a no-brainer. A Big Berkey water filter is the one you need, period. You need a water filter that removes chlorine, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, BPA, and other endocrine disruptors, pesticides, bacteria, viruses, and much more, right? And does it all at only 2 cents per gallon. Get the original and most trusted name in gravity water filtration, Big Berkey. And now GCN listeners receive 5% off ceramic filter systems using code GCN. Call or click 1-877-99-BERKEY or BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Free Talk Live.
You give someone an ounce of liberty and they'll go around abusing it and harming everyone else with it.
If we legalize guns...
People will be shooting people everywhere.
Right.
If you legalize prostitution, people will be having sex on the street corners. If you legalize drugs, we'll have heroin vending machines in the streets. We've heard it all on Free Talk Live. They take it to the most absurd, illogical extremes, and you're absolutely right, Alexander. It's okay for them to have freedom.
Yeah, you can give them a gun. They won't go around shooting people. But watch out with their neighbor, because you give them a gun, they'll go around in a rampage around the city, killing everyone.
But yes, they can be trusted, and apparently the government can be trusted too, because magically, we only elect the best of the best, the cream of the crop. The bureaucrats that are administering these programs are the upper echelon of society, the most trustworthy individuals.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes when I squint, I swear I can see a halo above their heads.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love. But make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
So sorry about that. That's what happens when you don't hit the mute button on Skype. Somebody coughs right in their microphone.
Perfect timing.
As soon as we open the show. Yep, that's right. That's why we get paid the big bucks here at Free Talk Live, because we're radio professionals. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. Ian and Chris in the studio, the live Saturday edition, as always, brought to you by Bitcoin.com. You want to get the latest on Bitcoin? They got a great news site over at news.bitcoin.com that covers various different aspects of the cryptocurrencies known as Bitcoin. There's more than one of them these days. You can go to bitcoin.com to get the basics and get started, get your first Bitcoin wallet set up, and get into the world of cryptocurrency. Once again, that's bitcoin.com. As we continue, we'll take your calls about whatever's on your mind. And then we're going to continue with the list of reasons why there's a strong libertarian case for open borders. In fact, Brian Kaplan over at the Foundation for Economic Education will go so far as to say that there is no principled pro-liberty case for immigration restrictions, and he has begun the process of absolutely demolishing any kind of arguments that a so-called libertarian would make against immigration freedom. We've got more of that on the way here, but let's go first to David. He is in New Mexico on Skype. Go ahead, David.
Hey, I went to Albuquerque and went to Walmart, touched some grocery carts, and got myself sick. Can't get rid of it. Sorry about that.
Oh, man. Don't you use the wipes when you go to the grocery store?
You let me tell you about it. When I pull those wipes out of there, I pull like 20 of them out, and I wipe down the whole. Yeah.
Me too. I do the same thing, but it works. I haven't been really sick in years. It's the one thing I changed was wiping down.
You turned into a germaphobe.
No, I'm not. I'm not anywhere else except for when I go to stores and I use a shopping cart and I wipe them down, and I've gone years without even getting a cold. It's amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah, well, I've managed to go years without getting a cold too, but for some reason and it definitely came from Albuquerque because I've been home for a long time. I went there, did all my shopping and got myself sick. So
right, yeah, you've told us before that you live kind of out in the middle of nowhere and you don't go into town very often, so that must be what it was. I know I've certainly gotten sick after going to a convention. You know, you're shaking people's hands, or whatever. So, yeah,
definitely.
What were you calling about though?
Continuation, adding on to last night about ownership of people. We were talking about children last night, and I guess the
question last night was about these so-called libertarians who believe they actually own their own children, and the idea of, well, if you own something, can you give it away? And Daryl's question was, well, what's the difference between giving away an unborn child, meaning that you've agreed to have a baby for someone as a surrogate, for instance, versus giving it away after it's born versus giving it away at age 5 or something like that.
Yeah, 15 is when I really started debating it.
But go ahead, David, with your comments.
Yeah. And obviously, this is too large of a conversation to digest the whole thing in one phone call, but let's discuss a small part of it. So, child is born, and obviously they have parents. They're born because they're born to parents. So what is the relationship? I'm going to say it's not ownership. A parent doesn't own their child, but a child doesn't care for itself, so it needs somebody.
I liked Daryl's word last night. He used the word caretaker.
Yeah, I consider it a moral obligation. There's no law.
Right, but you created this thing, so
right. I have an obligation to defend it until it can defend itself.
And I think that even without a law, most people would enforce that societal norm in their daily goings on.
Right, and it was successfully somehow before we had laws and peoples. Somehow a human race sprung out of all this mess. So obviously they were doing it before then. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here talking.
Right.
Right. Okay. And the next step, let me take this. Since we have, if you have a parent and you have a child, the state generates, in this country anyway, a birth certificate.
Mm-hmm.
So what exactly does the birth certificate denote?
Well, generally it's got the mother and the father on there, the hospital of birth, the location, and then maybe some numbers and probably some other data that I'm not remembering offhand.
Yeah, and the names of the parties, the children and the parents and such.
Right.
And so but what does the birth certificate do? And so it lists those things, and what does the birth certificate do? That's what it lists. What does it do?
I don't know.
Well, there's
it's
a conspiracy theory about the birth certificate that says that it's some sort of collateral against future,
US
earnings,
debt.
or that they put some kind of money into a secret account that's associated with that particular birth certificate. There's not a whole lot of evidence for those theories.
Right. And one thing it does, let me go down this track. It lists the names of the parties, and so when the child is born, until the presumably the parents designate a name that is then put onto the birth certificate. Until that's done, it's listed as baby Doe. But a name is put on there, and you use your birth certificate to get various pieces of ID. Obviously, you use it for identification and passports and driver's license, whatever. So it serves that purpose. And when if a baby is no longer being cared for by its birth parents and let's just choose adoption. Let's say it's adopted by another set of parents, then that child's name can be changed, right, on the birth certificate.
Okay.
So that's one function a birth certificate does. In for instance, one interesting scenario is that, for instance, a birth parent could have a birth child and put a name on there, and then in whatever time frame later, give that child up for adoption to another human being. That new parent can then go to the state and change the name of the child on the birth certificate, and then tell the child that they are their birth parent. In other words, lie to the child.
Kind of like a title to a car.
I didn't know that. That's interesting. Thank you, David, for sharing that tonight here. What I like are the parents who try to keep their kids completely out of the system. The ones that they won't have the baby in the hospital because the hospital, in pretty much every case, they try to force parents to sign these things, these birth certificates, these social security papers.
And vaccinate and things like that, which a lot of people may be opposed to.
A lot of people are. And so one way to keep out of the system, keep your child out of the system, is to have the baby out of the system. Use a midwife or a doula, I guess, and have a birth at home or at a birthing center where they're not going to present you with the government paperwork. Or if you say no to it, then they're respectful of that, whereas in a lot of hospitals, they're very, very, let's say, forceful or persuasive about those points. And so I have a lot of respect for those parents, even though it might make their lives some more difficult in some ways. Like, I guess, some people who pay taxes want to have deductions and things like that, and if their child's not on the books, then they don't get to take those deductions. But if you are truly against the state and you truly want your children to have choice, then not putting them in that system gives them the opportunity to make that decision later on down the line. If they decide they want a social security number, if they decide they want a birth certificate, if they want those things, then they should be able to go and get those.
Right.
But if they're not consenting, then it's not as, I don't know which one's worse, forced circumcision or forced birth certificating and social security numbers.
I think in all cases, it's a really good conversation to have about the use of force and whether parents should sort of rethink that, and by just making some decisions that will in no way, in most ways, not affect the safety of your child. Not going to make them get a horrible education until they're old enough. You know what I mean? It's the negative.
It might keep them out of the government schools, but that's a good thing. I mean, you don't want to put your kids in there.
It is, but you're not making decisions for somebody else when you realize that they may want to make different decisions later on.
Let's go to Gamma. He is calling in Chicago, watching us on YouTube at cam.freetalklive.com. Hello, Gamma.
How you doing? Well, I had two questions regarding cryptocurrencies. I guess I'll start with the first at a time. I'll hit the second one.
Right.
There's like there's a lot of cryptocurrencies out there right now.
1,300 of them on CoinMarketCap.com at this moment. More than 1,300.
So my question would be, how many cryptocurrencies do you think the world could support, like out in the future? Is it 25, 20,
an exact
50?
number?
Just I mean, whatever you feel, I guess.
I think it's
just how you envision it. If it really got widestream
right
or mainstream and everybody adopted it, how many would there be? Could there be? Should there be?
You know, I've thought about this, and I think of it from the point of view as a retailer, and then I try to think of it globally. And my thought is this, that there are probably going to be a few that are going to be dominant globally, and, you know, maybe that's 5 or 10, you know, that are truly used kind of all over the world. But I think regionally there's going to be things that become more in favor. What we really haven't seen, and I'm sure they're out there, but are very regional, localized cryptocurrencies that could be viable within smaller geographic areas. Why not?
I guess one of the questions is, you know, how does one qualify one of these cryptocurrencies as useful globally? Is it those that are over $1 billion in market cap, those that are over 100 million? I mean, where do you draw the line at which ones are useful or being used? There's more coming up here. I know you had a second question. Hang on, Gamma. This is Free Talk Live. Hour 3's on the way. Free Talk Live.
ID Stronghold wallets are different. They may look the same on the outside. They're stylish. They'll hold your cards and cash. But they're hiding something great on the inside. No, there are no pyrotechnics. And it doesn't sing when you open it. But it does have magical powers. ID Stronghold wallets protect your critical information and identity from thieves standing right next to you. Protect your family this holiday season with affordable leather ID Stronghold wallets and purses. Anyone can buy a cheap RFID scanner online and snag your information just by walking past you. Contactless credit cards, debit cards, even your work ID badge. ID Stronghold was the first to pioneer RFID blocking technology over 12 years ago. Secure your identity and save 10% by using coupon code PRESENT for a limited time at idstronghold.com. That's coupon code PRESENT, also available at walmart.com, eBay, Amazon, or QVC. idstronghold.com.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment walking down the street to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, December 23rd, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.38 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,275 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 4.5 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $15,065. Antiwar.com reports the ACLU filed a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit on Thursday, naming the Defense, Justice, and State Departments, seeking to compel the release of the new rules governing drone strikes and overseas assassinations by the Trump administration. President Obama's presidential policy guidance was ultimately forced to be made public after a similar lawsuit, but his rules were subsequently revised by President Trump. Exactly how they were revised and what they say now has remained a total secret, however. It is generally assumed that the restrictions were greatly eased given President Trump's own comments about killing the enemy in general, and had sought to largely eliminate pre-kill screenings to get the assassinations faster. The ACLU said they were particularly concerned about reports that the continuing and imminent threat requirement from the Obama document had been eliminated as part of an effort to make killing a looser system in general.
You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's fans.fppradio.com.
UPI reports President Donald Trump's latest travel ban executive order is unlawful, according to a panel of judges in the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. The appellate court panel's decision roughly aligned with a previous district court injunction, according to BuzzFeed. But Friday's ruling specifically only offers relief to would-be travelers to the U.S. with a bona fide relationship with a person or entity in the United States. The San Francisco-based panel wrote in Friday's ruling, the proclamation, like its predecessor executive orders, relies on the premise that the Immigration and Nationality Act vested the president with a broad power to regulate the entry of aliens. Those powers, however, are not without limit. We conclude that the president's issuance of the proclamation once again exceeds the scope of his delegated authority. Trump's latest travel ban, signed in September, forbids U.S. entry for travelers from Chad, Somalia, Iran, Libya, Syria, Yemen, and North Korea. It also bans some Venezuelan government officials and their families from entering the country. One other federal appellate court, based in Richmond, Virginia, is looking at the legality of the executive order.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
Reuters reports U.S. investigators said on Friday that just 6 seconds before an Amtrak train derailed off a bridge and onto a highway near Seattle, the engineer remarked that the train was speeding. The engineer then applied the brakes, but apparently not the emergency brake, according to a statement released by the National Transportation Safety Board after retrieving and reviewing data from the data recorder and inward and outward-facing cameras. Monday's crash south of Seattle killed 3 people and sent about 100 others to the hospital. All 12 cars and one of the 2 engines jumped the track at a curve, sending some cars tumbling from a bridge onto an interstate highway. The NTSB previously said the train was going 80 miles per hour in a 30-mile-per-hour zone. On Friday, it said the final recorded speed of the locomotive was 78 miles per hour. The train's video cameras were damaged in the crash, but investigators were able to download the content with the manufacturer's help at the NTSB lab in Washington, according to the board. The board said about 6 seconds prior to the derailment, the engineer made a comment regarding an overspeed condition. The engineer's actions were consistent with the application of the locomotive's brakes just before the recording ended. It did not appear the engineer placed the brake handle in emergency braking mode. The camera did not show the crew using any personal electronic devices. Amtrak President Richard Anderson on Friday urged faster national rollout of another safety measure, Positive
told reporters Monday that the economically healthy and financially stable Daily Planet newspaper is now the most unrealistic aspect of the comic books universe, acknowledging that enjoying the adventures of a superhero that can fly, lift cars over his head, and shoot beams of light out of his eyes requires some suspension of disbelief. Longtime readers said even the comic's most exciting stories are regularly ruined by the implausibility of a thriving daily newspaper whose advertising revenue and circulation numbers have not at all been threatened by a media landscape overtaken by laptops, smartphones, and aggregation websites.
Look, I could play along with Superman using his breath to freeze a volcano or clapping his hands together to cause some sort of sonic boom, but seeing images of a thriving Daily Planet newsroom not facing layoffs or dwindling home subscriptions just really takes me out of the story. No one in Metropolis has realized they could get news online faster and for free.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the third hour of the program. As always, you can join us here toll free at 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. More about the Libertarian case for open borders coming up here in moments. With you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian
and Chris.
We're going to continue with that. But first, your calls and thoughts. We got Gamma on the line in Chicago. Gamma, you'd called in with some questions about cryptocurrency, something that we're big fans of here on Free Talk Live, Bitcoin being the most well-known of them all. But there sure are a lot of them, as we were discussing in the last hour, over 1,300 of them at this time. And your question was something about, how many down the road are going to really matter. I don't want to put words in your mouth, so do you want to re-ask that question? Do we have Gamma?
Support and can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Go ahead.
Yeah, how many could the world, let's say all countries abandon fiat currencies and was just everybody just the crypto's the way to go? How many could the world support, or how many do you think they would support?
That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
How do you really answer a question like that? It's all pure speculation,
and it would capacity certainly becomes a question, as we've seen with Bitcoin. Bitcoin faces severe capacity problems
it's
just with
the
usage that we have right now.
Right, which is a fraction of Visa, for instance, or MasterCard or something like that.
And you could look at any other one and say, well, this one theoretically should, but it's all theory because none of them have even gotten close to the size of Bitcoin in doing these types of financial transactions. Now, Ethereum will do more transactions, but it's representing, maybe 500, 900 of those coins that are out there.
It's an interesting question
tokens.
Because if you look at the marketplace in a relatively unrestricted market, you get a lot of choices typically, meaning that people want different things in a market, whether we're talking about mustards or deodorants or cereals or whatever product is out there. There's a bunch of different options offered by a whole lot of companies, most of which you don't even see on the store shelves because the store shelves only select certain companies' options. So you start looking at different stores or online choices, and you start to see this incredible, overwhelming number of choices in some cases, and it can be hard to say, do we really need this many types of this thing? And the answer is yes and no, meaning that there are a bunch of choices, but not all of them make it. Some of them fail, and certainly you're going to see that happen and already have happened with a bunch of cryptocurrencies. There's a list out there of failed cryptocurrencies as well that nobody remembers.
Growing every day. And the other thing I would say is that quote-unquote monopolies or dominant players in the market happen in a free market. So you can look at anything, and I'm not a big fan of antitrust, but companies like Microsoft that dominated.
It's not a monopoly, though.
No, for a while it was close to the government said it was a monopoly. I didn't say it was, but I said they had 85% of the operating systems installed at one point or higher were Microsoft Windows. So they didn't do anything at one point. Not JP Morgan. I'm trying to think of the oil guy from back in the 1880s.
Oh yeah. What are you talking about?
Right, but Standard Oil and things like that, they figured out ways to produce things that were better that the customer wanted for a lower price, and they became the one. So I think that the crypto world is so young that we haven't even figured out what features are most important to consumers. So
Rockefeller? Was it Rock?
I think it was Rockefellers. But is privacy really that important? Well, there's some great privacy-related cryptos out there.
A bunch of them.
Right. But will one get, that magic sauce, that magic mix of all these really preferred features that make it really widespread? I think it will.
Yeah, we're so early in this game. I mean, some people look at the price of a Bitcoin and they see $15,000 for a Bitcoin and they say, well, that's too late. I can't get involved. But it's not too late. We're still in the early phase of these cryptocurrencies. There's still plenty of cryptocurrencies that are very cheap. And, of course, you can always buy a fraction of a Dash or a Bitcoin or, whatever the thing is that you think is too expensive. So you don't have to buy the whole thing. But I think it's important to keep all of this in perspective is that we're still just getting started here. This technology is nascent. I mean, it's beginning. It is in its incipience, in its very beginning stages. And it's still not that easy to use. It's still got a lot of work to do before it's truly going to be a mainstream thing. There's still too many hoops to jump through in order to acquire it, in order to sell it, in order to trade it. It's just, it's easier now than it was 5 years ago, no doubt. But we're going to see some more advancements because there's a lot of money being poured into this space, and some of that is going towards research and development on how to make this stuff easier. And whoever it is that comes up with a cryptocurrency that can be easy for people, I think they've got a winner in addition to the privacy coins. And I agree, Gamma, completely that we're going to see a bunch of options so that you can spend your rewards points from other rewards like you can take your airline rewards and spend them over at Overstock or something like that.
God.
And it just sounded like such a crazy cool change to that program to make these private currencies within these companies interchangeable and interlinked somehow using
and
this
have
technology.
value outside of their own little ecosystem.
Right.
I think that's going to be crazy.
Amazing.
When we talk about adoption, one thing I also like to look at is for the last 3, 4, 5 years, phones have had these NFC chips in them, so you could set up your Google Wallet or your Apple Pay, and you could walk into a store and you could touch a little thing and you could make your payment with your phone. I've supported that for 2 years, also the same amount of time in my store. We supported cryptocurrency. Yep. You know how many people have used it?
The Apple Pay, Google Pay thing?
Right.
2. 0.
You're 2 higher than the actual 0. 0 people. I go into any
signage up, right? You've got, people should see the logo.
I accept all this stuff, and I go into grocery stores. I have not once, other than myself, seen anybody try to pay with a phone.
Yeah.
So even though the technologies may be there, people are really slow to change habits.
Yep, absolutely. Gamma, what was the second question?
I guess what would you feel the life cycle could be of either cryptocurrencies and or blockchain? Like,
we're already seeing blockchain, which is
you were saying it's a nascent thing, like so.
Yeah, I just mean on the scale of I meant when I say nation, I meant on the scale of all currencies, right? So cryptocurrencies are so new to the scene, but also technology is advancing at such a clip. It may be that blockchain doesn't have more than 10 years left. I mean, it may be that the new IOTA Tangle technology crushes blockchain down the line, or something we haven't even envisioned yet comes out and is just so much more efficient and so much, more brilliant and profitable or whatever that it just wipes out Bitcoin or whatever. We have no idea what's coming around the corner.
Have you guys ever heard of the S-curve for
adoption?
Yeah. And really, I really do believe we're still in the early adopters phase. I think it's going to be
$500 billion is going to be we're going to look back in a year at $500 billion. It's going to be it's probably going to be over $1 trillion in January.
Right.
I mean, if the continued increase that we've been seeing over the last couple of months continues into January, we're going to hit $1 trillion of the total market cap for all cryptos combined. Nice. And then last year we saw over 1,000% increase. So it could be at 100 trillion or 10 trillion by the end of the year. Who knows what we're going to see? It's amazing. Thanks, Gamma. There's more coming up here on Free Talk Live.
She seems happier. Her fur is so much shinier, silkier, softer. She has really mellowed a lot.
Sheba is 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog. For life.
The shedding has stopped, the itching has stopped.
Since 2001, we've helped more than 250,000 dogs get over their nutritional deficiency miseries.
And saved our customers bazillions in vet bills.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food. Dynovite is nutrition.
Dynovite for life.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dynovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Thinking about getting into cryptocurrency? It's time you looked into Dash. Dash is digital money that you can use to send instant and private payments anywhere for pennies. Dash offers a decentralized network where miners are rewarded for keeping it strong and safe. Dash has made a huge impact in the crypto world. Start your journey. Check out Dash.org for more information. And get in now on the future of cryptocurrency. Dash.org.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We've talked about everything from immigration to cryptocurrency here tonight and a few other things. But with you in the studio, it's Ian.
And Chris.
Don't forget, you can join us online. Just head over to freetalklive.com where you can enjoy the features of the site there completely free. And once again, that's freetalklive.com. You want to hook up with the Blink home security system. You can get 3 Blink cams for what some of the other guys will charge you for 1 security camera by going to blinkprotect.com/FTL. It's super easy to get these cams set up, unlike one of those expensive security systems where you got to have some professional come in, or you got to go and drill holes and run wires through walls, and it's a huge pain in the butt. The Blink home security system, it's done wirelessly, although I do admit there's one wire in the system, and that's the power cable for the hub. But the cameras themselves are wireless. They come with the batteries that you need. You pop those things in. You get it all set up within moments on your Wi-Fi-enabled device, whether it be your tablet or smartphone. And then once the cams are set up, and you can decide, how often you want them to be monitoring for movement and how many seconds the clips should be that it sends to you once it detects that movement. You get to choose all of that, and then you see the clips, and they're sent to you on your smart device, wherever you happen to be in the world. So check it out over at blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. As we go to Taylor in Midwest Indiana, listening to WIBC FM. Go ahead, Taylor.
Hi, I was listening about you talking about people not wanting to give birth in hospitals, and then the currency and everything, and how that ties together.
I don't know if we tied currency into giving birth, but I did say there's a conspiracy theory that says that the birth certificate is somehow tied to a secret account that is loaded up with like millions of U.S. dollars that if you know the right code words, you can access.
I'm actually talking to your live birth certificate, which every person has, but you don't get unless you request it. Not your birth certificate, your live birth certificate.
Okay.
And it actually says American banknote on it.
Okay, this is that conspiracy theory.
And it has a number tied to you as a person.
Yeah, so
how do I find mine?
This passed with the Federal Reserve Act of 1913, and it was in the New Deal that FDR passed in 1933. Your body is being traded on the stock market all over the world from the moment that you're born.
Okay, can you point me to
our dollar is not backed by gold; it's backed by your blood, sweat, and tears.
This is the conspiracy theory I was referring to.
I love this. Can you point me to a link or a website that has
there
this?
are websites.
I know.
Not going to be
go
proof.
ahead and look up Republica versus Sween. That's SWEEN. 1, the number 1, Dallas, the number 43. and 28.
Now, are you one of the people who believes that you can take money out of the secret account and use it to pay bills? No. Okay.
No.
So
not at all.
what is the? I mean, this is an interesting theory, but is there actually any proof for it?
I guess other than looking at your own live birth certificate to see that it says federal banknote on it, and
how do I do that?
Is.
How do I do that?
You have to request it, I guess,
from
through
who?
Where the county where you were born, the state you were born.
My live birth certificate. Okay. Have you done this?
I have not, but I have seen others, and I'm actually looking at one right now.
Okay. And so, do you have any beliefs about what can or cannot be done with this certificate, or is it just like, aha, now you know the truth? That kind of thing.
It's just aha, now you know the truth kind of thing.
Okay.
I had all of my kids in hospitals, so
Gotcha.
I mean, I know a lot of things that there's nothing I can do about that I will just continue to deal with.
Well,
but
you can.
It's nice to know, I guess you could say.
Well, I know that, as far as the federal government, we know they do evil things. They're a terrifying group of men and women that enforce their will upon people by violence. And it certainly wouldn't be a surprise to find out that there was some sort of sneaky, evil trading of people's future labor on markets or something like that.
Future labor, yep, exactly, of that person.
But where's the evidence that those things are actually traded? I mean, we know that the government takes out debts based on the expectation that they're going to be able to tax people in the future. We know that. So it's kind of like the same thing, but not the same as...
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is, saying that I will be able to tax this person to pay you a debt instead of trading it in gold.
Right. I get all that. I guess I want to see it. It's not that I
don't... And then the further of it is not only will this person be taxed, this person will probably take in medications as an American because we are the most medicated country in the world. Not only that, the pharmaceuticals are owned by the Merck family. The Merck family is from Israel. You could go on and on and on of how
the Merck family owns all of the pharmaceuticals, but okay.
Not all of them. There's also the Dome family, and they're also from Israel. There's
I sense a theme here.
Yeah, it does sound like there's a theme here. I'm not sure what you're trying to get at.
That's interesting.
Nothing except for Zionism, I guess you could say.
What's that mean?
Zionism? Oh my gosh, that one goes.
I always have to ask every time I hear it because I never retain the actual definition. I've asked that question so many times over the years because people bring it up as though it's, it means something.
Zionist.
So what does it mean?
Or to you, what does it mean to you?
Sorry, my husband's making me listen to myself through the radio.
Yeah, that's really confusing. You should walk away from that.
I can't. Yeah, I'm trying not to deal with that.
Yeah.
You can listen to it. I'll go over here.
That's right. You put him in his place.
Zionism is basically Jew. Okay, so it's not actual Jews. It's the Jews that are saying that they're better than the Palestinians when they're and trying to basically make Israel a self-sustaining place where only Jews can be, and Palestinians are basically thrown out and demonized and criminalized and make it an all-Jewish state, which is fine. You can have an all-Jewish state. But at the same time, they put their fingers in networks through other countries, mostly America, to make money off of us. So Larry Silverstein was a Zionist. Do you know who Larry Silverstein is?
The owner of the World Trade Center?
Yeah, I think that's right, yeah.
Exactly. Do you know who he bought them from?
No.
The Rockefeller family.
Mm-hmm.
He purchased them for $3.5 billion and then took out a policy for $33.5 billion that if anything ever happened to them, that he would get that amount, insurance policy. Oh. And he did that in 1999.
Yep.
Okay.
So I just got to hop in here. I've heard most of these conspiracy theories before, and I'm certainly not putting any of them beyond, and I'm not even going to say the U.S. government or other governments in the world or the oligarchy that I believe we live under. I don't really think we are a constitutional republic. I don't think we have been for a long time. But again, for all these conspiracy theories, what I generally don't see is one guy who sneaks out with.
Able to
hold on, let's let Chris finish his statement here.
Where's the one guy who's Edward Snowden who pulls the documents and releases them to the world? You know why that happens with the Pentagon? It happens all over the place, and This is what frustrates me. I just want to see some proof. I know the arguments.
Right. There's every person who ever calls in with whether it's the courtroom conspiracy theories of how to win in court with some sort of magic words
right.
or whether it's this thing with the birth certificate. They almost never have any experience on their own. So like when Chris asked you, do you have one of these live birth certificates? You admitted you don't. So I hope that you have some success in achieving yours, and you should call us back when you do.
Yes.
Thanks for the call tonight, Taylor. I appreciate it, because there's always somebody out there claiming these things, but they almost never have their own proof that they can point to. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, but they've done their research.
Has your body ever gone low blood sugar, feeling weak, shaky, knowing you better eat something fast? We all know high blood sugar can lead to many metabolic problems. At GCNteam.com, we have a healthy blood sugar pack, focusing on the structure and function of stable blood sugar. Find us at GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. Nothing feels worse than unstable blood sugar. Call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free here and bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Coming up, more on immigration. It's Ian and Chris in the studio with you tonight, and also do want to let you know about the free bumper sticker that you can get from Free Talk Live. You go to our website on the promote page, promote.freetalklive.com. And by the way, our subdomains have now been fixed, thank goodness. It's been a while, but some of our listeners were having trouble going to some of the word.freetalklive.com.
Shop.freetalklive.com.
Yeah, right. Or in this case, promote.freetalklive.com. On some browsers, it was throwing up security errors and freaking people out. So we finally got that solved, and no one has yet, since I've announced it has been solved, no one has said, hey, I'm still having that problem. So I'm considering that bug completely squashed at this point. It was not cheap to squash that bug, but it has been squashed. So now you can get your Free Talk Live bumper sticker over at promote.freetalklive.com. You'll see there is a there's an address there. You send a self-addressed stamped envelope to that address, and we will put a bumper sticker in that envelope and drop it in the mail right back to you. And by the way, it's thanks to the good folks over at libertystickers.com. They are the people who provide us with the high-quality, excellent bumper stickers that we've had now for a while over here at Free Talk Live. You can go to libertystickers.com because not only do they do custom stickers like they've done for us, in large orders if you want to do that for, let's say, your company or your group or whatever, but they've also got a bunch of liberty-oriented bumper stickers that you can just buy through libertystickers.com. And, of course, you can reach thousands of people with your bumper stickers, and people love to read them, so check out the vast selection of witty, poignant, pithy, and downright bombastic liberty-oriented messages available right now at libertystickers.com. As we continue here, as I say, Ian and Chris in the studio, we're going to go to Skype, or at least I thought we were going to. Skype's been acting up here, and I apologize. We did have an internet outage earlier here tonight, and I don't think it has completely recovered, but we'll get to that here in moments. The toll-free number again, 855-450-FREE. Let's try Rick. He's on the line on Skype, calling from the UK. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Rick.
Merry Christmas, Ian.
Thanks,
is my
Rick.
audio okay?
Yeah, you sound fine. Good morning.
Merry Christmas to you and your guest, Chris, from the regionalistpodcastnetwork.com.
Thank you.
For the Britcast specifically. Yeah, Merry Christmas. A couple of points I'd like to make tonight. Love your outfit. That's a great start.
Thanks, man. You're watching on the webcam at cam.freetalklive.com. I get a lot of comments on this ridiculous, ugly sweater.
It is. It's all of those things.
It's quite garish.
It's very elven. It's very in keeping with Christmas. But have you seen how people in Holland celebrate Christmas with their elves?
No.
What it is, they know. Well, it's pretty strange. My scribe got told off when he were doing the podcast this week because he blacked his face up. And I said, what the hell are you doing? I'm not a racist. And he says, this is how the Dutch celebrate it. And what they claim is the Black Helpers, what they represent, it's quite strange. In the 700 time frame, the Moors were raiding as far as Iceland. And so according to Northern European people, if you didn't listen to your parents, the people with Moorish faces would take your kids away.
Right.
And likewise, in the German forest, because of human sacrifice, you notice. I mean, it's a bit dark and macabre, I know, but it's supposed to be Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, what it is Santa Claus in the German forests represents Odin, and again with Odin, you've got the light and the dark, and he has a accomplice called Krampus, and he has a bag specifically to put naughty kids in. Now,
literally scooping the naughty children up into a bag. All right, bag the kids this year. That'll be fun.
By the NSA.
Removing the kids. But the thing is, this is what's got me about doing all this show prep about Christmas. It turns out that people are offended by this, by people say elves in Holland having black faces. Mm-hmm. The Dutch government had to go as far as saying it represents soot. And again, in European Christmas stories, every aspect represents a part of history. And again, the Dutch elves represents, like I said, the Moorish incursions where they'd snatch your children. And like I say, Krampus represents drowning kids. And this is another thing I've noticed, and this ties into the immigration question now. Like I said, people are offended by both of them things. But in Britain specifically, there's a woman called Yasmin Alibi Brown, who writes for the Guardian newspaper and various, British tabloids. And she claims, and I quote, that Christmas trees are Islamophobic.
Huh?
Now, this is the problem with the immigration arguments. It's like, right, whether or not the Muslims approve of it, this is the way people have done things in this country for centuries. And likewise, there's been other cases, like in Boston, for instance, it were called the holiday tree or the seasonal tree rather than a Christmas tree. And I've noticed...
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous.
Right.
I mean, this oversensitive crap about people's holidays, leave people alone. Let them celebrate however they want to. Rick, thanks for the history lesson. I appreciate that. Very interesting call.
Interesting.
The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Larry is on the line in Indianapolis. Larry, listening to WIBC. Go ahead.
Yeah, just like he was talking about. That's political correctness.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I wanted to talk about was the statistics you said about the immigrants committing less crimes than U.S. citizens.
What?
The new numbers just came out December 21st, and on the Tucker Carlson Tonight Show, and it's the first thing that's on his show, and it's debated right there. The new numbers. There was never no numbers before December 21st. Somebody just assumed it. Like the PC, whoever they are. Yeah.
No, there was a really detailed article, and I think it was the American Conservative magazine that actually went into a whole lot of detail on the numbers. And as it turns out, immigrants are not any more of a danger than anybody else.
And to be clear, the number that I tossed out earlier in the show was put out by Cato, which says you are 250 times more likely to be killed by a fellow American than a terrorist. It wasn't about illegal aliens.
Okay, now here's the truth. December 21st, Tucker Carlson. That's all you got to know. Just look up his show on December 21st. It's discussed by, I don't know, who's behind these magazines you're talking about. This here is people that...
the American Conservative magazine? That's a pretty big, right-wing magazine, a place you wouldn't expect to see numbers like that, but yet they did an amazing piece about it that was very well researched. Of course, the point is that anybody can sculpt numbers in the way that they want to, so you always have to question any sources that you end up finding. But let's just say it's true, whatever your numbers are saying. So what?
Well, you're the one who brought it up. I'm not saying...
No, you called in.
You brought it up. Yeah, but you put it on the air. I had to call in.
I don't know what you're talking about, dude. I didn't say what you claim that we said. I don't know if Chris did. I don't think he did either. So
we were talking about immigration. We're talking about open borders.
You was more likely to get killed by your family member than you are from an illegal alien.
No, you totally did not comprehend what was said.
Yeah, to be very clear, I said...
No, we were here. I was sitting here. We don't have a tape. We have archives. We haven't had tapes for years. It's been 20 years since I've seen a tape in a radio studio. But regardless, Chris, what was it you said? Maybe you can clarify here.
From Cato, you were 250 times more likely to be killed by an American than by a terrorist. Not talking about illegal aliens whatsoever, but I'll watch the YouTube video after the show. That'll be uploaded, and we'll be able to play it back and see. If I misspoke, I misspoke, and sometimes that happens with me, but I doubt it.
Even if you were right and that immigrants were somehow more likely to be violent, are you saying that justifies a police state?
Well, what do you consider a police state? We're a nation of laws. Is that what you consider it?
I think we were one. Police state to me would be is if I'm traveling through Texas and I come up to a bunch of cars and they say, we need to search your vehicle.
Or show us your papers.
Yeah,
or
show me your ID. I'm just traveling from point A to point B.
Yeah, and that happens in the United States today. Police state is also where men with guns will lock down a neighborhood and prevent people from coming in and out without showing their papers. That just happened in Baltimore a few weeks ago. Thanks for the call tonight, Larry, and it's only going to get worse as people keep clamoring for more cops everywhere.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try LicoChops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Are you happy washing your hands with harsh chemicals? Are you happy doing laundry with detergents? Are you happy paying high prices? Find your happiness with Pure Soap. These all-natural, earth-friendly Pure Soaps are the very best you've ever used. Buy in bulk. Get a 12, 36, or 48-month supply, or get items individually and still save big. You're getting soap products twice as good as what you're using now, earth-friendly and natural soaps. Your family deserves the best. Happiness is 5starsoap.com. Why not put your money up the drain for a change? See them at 5starsoap.com or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog. Cal Ben Soap Company can save you thousands of dollars and give you good old-fashioned real soaps that are triple concentrated. Soaps made from vegetable and coconut oils. See their full selection of soaps at 5starsoap.com. That's FIVE starsoap.com. Or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Pure Life Water, helping you drink better and live better by providing a zero-calorie alternative to sugary drinks. Visit us at nestle-purelife.us. When kids are playing, they often don't want to stop to keep hydrated. So send them out with a bottle of water and encourage them to take frequent drink breaks, or call them inside for a quick sip. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Moments remain here, enough time for you. If you dial now, you can get in here at 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. We've got Skype. Our Skype username is lrn.fm. Joining you tonight here in the studio, it's Ian.
And Chris.
Don't forget, if you want to help support Free Talk Live, you can join the AMP program over at amp.freetalklive.com. It's $5 a month. You can use any major credit card. You can use PayPal. You can even use Bitcoin Core if for some reason you're crazy and you want to spend a $30 fee to send us your $5 per month. Well, actually, you can buy your Bitcoin sponsorship of the AMP program in multiple months. So if you're going to do Bitcoin, you might want to do a bunch of months. So you can take that fee and spread it out over all those months rather than just one hit. But go to amp.freetalklive.com. Your money is used to help promote Free Talk Live to more radio stations, bring new internet listeners aboard, and expose new people to the ideas of freedom. If that's worth $5 a month to you, and the cool perks that you get, like access to the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only podcast, and more, just head on over to amp.freetalklive.com. And you can get that there. So real quick here, more from the Foundation for Economic Education about immigration and the case for open borders. As he points out, the belief that citizens are countries' rightful owners is crazy. The social contract is an utter myth. Contracts require unanimous consent, and no country has ever had unanimous consent. Not only that, no country has ever proffered a social contract for anybody to look at to consent to. But number 5, he says, of course, most libertarians, including me, grant that if the consequences of specific libertarian policies are terrible, we should make an exception. It's a big tent. You don't have to be a strict libertarian on everything to qualify as a libertarian, he says. But open borders is not a case where an exception is justified. Why not? He says on number 6 here, for starters, we should remember that preventing someone from moving to his preferred country is not a minor inconvenience like a parking ticket. It's a severe act of government coercion. Imagine you could either be stuck in Haiti for the rest of your life or be literally enslaved with probability X. What value of X makes you indifferent? 10%? 20%? 30%. I'm not saying immigration restrictions are as bad as slavery, but if for the billions born in places like Haiti, our restrictions are at least 10% as bad as slavery.
It's an interesting argument, and it's one of those that requires Americans to put themselves outside of America. You know,
it's hard for them to do.
It is. It's very hard to imagine yourself living in a different third world country and what that may be like under some dictatorship.
Number 7, what about the broader effects of immigration? Standard economic estimates say that open borders would have massive economic benefits, roughly doubling global production. How? By moving billions of workers from countries where their labor produces little because of government interference, to countries where their labor produces a lot. Just look at how much a Haitian's wages rise the day he arrives in Miami. Number 8, what about fiscal effects? Milton Friedman famously warned that you cannot simultaneously have free immigration and a welfare state. But I've looked closely at the numbers, and Friedman was just wrong. If you're curious, check out the latest National Academy of Science estimates. And number 9, what if immigrants come and vote for statist policies? We've heard this one a bunch. The idea is that, oh, those immigrants coming in, they're socialists. We can't just let them in here because they're going to make the country even more socialist. Because, of course, the U.S. is pretty much already a socialist country.
Shh, don't tell them.
Which was brought upon us by, the white members of Congress who are the dominant, color, if you will, or nationality of Congress.
A lot of progressive Republicans in the early part of this, or the 20th century.
Immigrants are, he says, I've looked at the numbers. Immigrants are more economically liberal and socially conservative than natives, but the differences are modest, and immigrants don't vote much anyway. And immigrants are much more libertarian than natives on one important dimension, the support for free immigration. Today's immigrants are much more democratic than natives, but if you ever thought that Democrats were dramatically worse for freedom than Republicans, I hope the last year has changed your mind. And finally, number 10. He says, I generally avoid poetry, but today I'll make an exception. The government decrees that fellow human beings can't live or work here without proper papers. Papers that are almost impossible for most people on Earth to ever obtain. It treats them as criminals for terrible offenses like shining shoes on the streets of Miami or picking fruit on the fields of California. If libertarians won't stand up for the rights of these literally oppressed people, we stand for nothing and we are nothing. That's Brian Kaplan, professor of economics at George Mason University. And great little piece. And that, again, was just his introduction, apparently, from a speech he gave at the Students for Liberty Regional Conference at the University of Maryland recently. Let's go to Luke. He's in Indiana listening to WIBC-FM. Luke, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Chris.
Hey, Chris. Yeah, I was calling about that guy that called in a minute ago about the Tucker Carlson thing on the 21st.
Right.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up, I think Tucker Carlson is exactly what's wrong with the media, and I just don't want people out there going and looking up that video and saying that those statistics are correct. The only video of Tucker Carlson anybody needs to see is one where he gets schooled by Jon Stewart when he was on Crossfire.
Really?
And yeah, if you've never seen that, it shows exactly what's wrong. I mean, Tucker Carlson's the type of person that instead of having a conversation, it's just trying to talk about something else and bringing up all of these points that have nothing to do with actually moving forward and getting to something.
Huh.
Right.
Yeah, I can't say I have much experience seeing anything of his. I know some people claimed he was a libertarian, but it's not sounding like it if he's out there pimping, crackdown on immigration.
Yeah, well, I mean, he used to be on CNN for Crossfire, and then he's been on Fox News now. Either way, I think he's off to what's wrong with America. I mean, when you go on the news in a bow tie, you're trying to sell somebody something.
Oh, come on. We can't classify just by their type of tie.
All right, so do you want to share anything else? Any other thoughts, Luke?
No, that was it.
All right, man. Hey, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. You know, one of the issues with immigration is the fact that these folks are being used as a scapegoat. They're being used as a distraction and a target, meaning the immigrants themselves. Being called names like illegals, being looked down upon, people coming up with all kinds of statistics to justify a police state and a crackdown against what are basically human beings who are coming to a place to try to make a better life for themselves.
And don't think that there aren't lobbyists who are being paid by certain industries to put the boot down on this stuff. I mean, there are trade organizations and things like that, that would an influx of new labor would hurt the control that they have. And those,
like a union, you mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
For one great example. But there's always money behind all these moves, and if we think that it's purely about safety,
no,
you've got a lot of people.
Boogeyman aspect,
right? But you also have a lot of people in government that are going to get a lot bigger budgets with all this stuff going on. So
sure,
they
want it too.
They have a real incentive to go up on Capitol Hill and testify about, what a nightmare scenario this is going to happen, and suddenly they have more power and more money.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the nightmare scenario is the idea that it's becoming more commonplace these days to have an armed group of men calling themselves ICE come into a business, hold the business at gunpoint, demand access to their files, their employment files, and start pouring over information about the people that are working there, then finding the people that they're purportedly looking for, going and rounding them up, separating them from their families, and taking them into some cold, horrifying detention center, ultimately to likely remove them from this place and take them away from their life that they were trying to create for themselves. I mean, that sounds like a horrifying story, and it's not uncommon these days.
Right, and it's not people that came over last year, too. It's, I was reading an example. I can't remember how long the family had been here, 10 or 20 years. The guy, that family's obviously not a problem. They'd never had so much as a speeding ticket.
Right.
But they came up on a list. So sorry, back to Mexico, where you probably don't even know anybody anymore.
Well, at least going back to Mexico, you probably aren't going to get killed. In some cases, immigrants, if they go back to the country they came from, let's say some Middle Eastern countries, for instance, they may end up getting killed by those governments upon their return for various different reasons. Perhaps they were leaving because they were against that government, and they're a wanted individual in that particular place. So, the government here doesn't care about those things. The governments don't care. They're not loving organizations. They're some of the most heartless, spineless bureaucrats, and the fact that these people who call themselves small government or libertarians believe that they're going to be able to accomplish the goals that they want by using government force just shows they haven't learned a single thing about how government works.
No, and this entire discussion about immigration is a discussion about borders. And borders are a feature of a state.
It's also a figment of your imagination.
Well, it is, but a country cannot exist without borders. And if you go so far as to question immigration, that means you've got to question the idea of having a state in the first place. And that's something that a lot of people still can't wrap their heads around.
We are out of time for tonight, but we got plenty more time to wrap heads around other things over the years here on Free Talk Live. Of course, you can join us tomorrow night for the live Christmas Eve edition of Free Talk Live. That's right. We're going to be here for you. See you then. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Freedom Fiends with Michael Dean and his weird friends.
Mr. Michael Dean, and this is my show, Freedom Fiends.
I love that.
I hope you like it. If you don't, I don't really care. I don't make it for the masses. I make it for the cool weirdos who are up late at night. Insomniacs, swing shift workers, the homeless. Yeah.
People in other countries.
People in other countries who are at their day job that's 9 to 5. Good point. Good point. The unemployed, the underemployed, the worried.
Okay, y'all. Now, if y'all are feeling a little worried tonight and you've got a hamster running around in your brain, we have a solution for you. Just put your hands on your computer or your telephone, and the spirit of the fiends is going to come rushing right through, and it's going to heal you.
Listen on LRN.FM Monday through Friday, midnight to 2 a.m. U.S. Central Time, and weekends, noon to 2 p.m. U.S. Central Time.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to BIPCOT.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm. The latest edition of the Anarchopreneur is next on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.fm. Get more at NathanFraserShow.com.
Nathan Fraser Show, episode number 82. Dustin Belvin joins us to talk about what works and what doesn't with Facebook ads.
Let me ask you something. Haven't you ever been tempted to just break the rules and finally
get back at my big faceless corporate bosses for making